No, I understand. It was wise of you to bring them here, Count. They'll receive the best treatment in all of Ustalav. Early signs of bleaching. This is the response to stimulus. An Iron Fang veteran? Ah, I think I recognize this. Her eyes betray much. Now, for their admission records, may I have their names?
For this first episode, for right now, don't want any of you to worry about who you are. Don't worry about what you look like or what you're capable of. I want you just get in the mindset of the situation, react as you would, do whatever comes to your mind. Hell, don't even worry about the rules of Pathfinder. We have plenty of time to get there later. But right now, our story begins very simply. 5 cloaked figures, faces shaded from the moonlight above, standing together near the center of a fishing village. You can hear the sound of the water, coastline not far behind you. Streets and buildings around illuminated, pale glow of a full moon streaming down between the dark clouds. It is late. The sun has long since set. Nobody else is traveling about the village this night, save for you 5. Your journey has brought you the facade of a simple stone building before you. Gray brick and a wooden porch. The home of an oracle of your town, a fortune teller. As the group of you have come seeking some answers. Buildings all around you and down either side of this road are simple structures of wooden plank and thatch. This village is no city. Little more than a hamlet, truly. But it does possess one great defining feature, visible from anywhere within its bounds. Off in the direction of the coast, there is a stone tower. Stone tower, dozens of feet, stories high, piercing upwards into the sky, bathed in the glow of the moon's light. A structure of stone many times larger than every other building down in this village, set on an island, some half of a mile away from the shores. Seeking answers, the 5 of you enter this building. See before you a cluttered chamber, lit by flickering candles, set amongst sconces and lanterns, almost at complete random. The interior is dusty but colorful, walls and floors adorned with portraits and tapestries of various styles. And before you, on a simple table, sat low to the ground, a woman with an assortment of implements before her. A pair of small twisted spoons, a palm-sized crystal ball with no stand, a litany of coins and bones of assorted small animals. Her wrinkled face looks up and smiles at you. Gray hair pulled back into a tight bun behind her. Welcome. I had expected you would choose this night to come. Please, step inside. Have a seat. There are no seats save for the rug on the floor. But you get the idea.
I'll be the first one to sit down. Thank you for accepting us into your home.
Please, it is no trouble. You would seek answers, and I have made it my life of many years to give them where possible.
I'm not sure about your methods. It's hard to find answers in the bones of small animals, no?
It's hard to find answers in anything. That's why you have come to me, no?
Fair enough.
Take my seat as well.
I'll stand.
Fate is, twisted, fickle, and often confusing thing. It's web of threads, even to the greatest, seemingly impermeable. The knowledge it holds is limitless, immaculate, and divine, but reading even the smallest glimpse into it. As you said, the methods vary. I can tell you this, of all my readings, this will be one of my most difficult. Can't tell what it is, but the 5 of you here, what your future holds for you is... It may be difficult to comprehend, even if I were able to tell it perfectly. You still want to continue?
If you were aware that we were going to be here, I mean, you could also just say that to everyone who walks in your door, but it's something we're at least willing to listen to.
You mean to imply that I spend my waning hours of both the day and this life seated at this table simply hoping for someone to stroll inside? I regret to inform you my business isn't nearly so booming. No, your auras are something different entirely. I think I know why you are here. She takes the bone back from Colby, and normally I take great pains to refer to you by your character names, but you don't have any, so your real ones will have to do for now. Placing it with the rest of them and kind of pulling them all together. These work together. Simple readings that layer upon one another to hope to give us some semblance of a picture. But I think perhaps she kind of picks them up and just lets the bones, these little bones, run through her fingers back onto the table, seemingly aimlessly and without direction. I think if you give me a moment. He looks past the group of you towards the door. The windows on the front of this home are covered by thick curtains, so you can't see outside. The only light, once you close the front door behind you, are the candles inside. Take a look towards Rushmore Tower from my porch and tell me what it is that you see. I will wait. I am in no hurry.
I'll look.
Get up and open the door back up. As the moon continues to move through the sky from this position, it almost looks as if it is notched onto the top of the tower, the silhouette lining up perfectly with this bright moon up in the sky. As is somewhat common for a village so close to the coast, this late at night, a bank of fog is starting to emanate out from the water. Visible in the distance, almost a pale yellow as it reflects the night sky above.
Well, it's a pretty sight to see the moon lined up with the tower like that. You got a great view.
That tower has served a great many purposes. Once as a lighthouse to signal passing merchant ships coming through our docks. Once as a prison. But more recently, even abandoned as it has been for some years, it still holds as much power as anything I have come into contact with in my line of work here. Your presence here has aided me, and she takes one of the spoons and puts it perpendicular before her, just in front of the small crystal ball, laying the other one across it. It's the tip of its bowl touching against the crystal. She looks back and forth between that and the bones. This may take me some amount of time to unravel. Please, relax and give me a moment of quiet to read this. Your presence is all that is necessary for my understanding. Do not wander far. but I need my silence and concentration. Sort of gestures back towards the door again.
I'll go kind of like sit on the, if she has like a porch sort of step, just watching the moon.
The wooden porch out in front of her house does step down to the street a little bit. There's plenty of room for you to sit down.
Step outside, just picking up my nails,
I'm gonna
wasting a minute.
walk out the door, and I'm just gonna kind of lean up against the wall.
Step outside and just kind of watch the sky.
Yeah, okay, I'll just walk around the building, see.
The situation feels strange and aimless. You had arrived, said barely a word, and were almost immediately turned back to the porch. Thinking, all of you, through your minds, it's hard to remember even exactly what it is that brought you here in the first place. What led you to this fortune teller, or what truth it was that you sought. Everything feels like it's just happening around you, beyond your control. Even your own movements, even your own placement here seems to be near preordained. As Kevin, last night you closed the door behind you, and all of you can see this moon near perfectly aligned with the top of the tower now. The fog coming up the banks this night is thick and rolling. It starts to roll down into the lower streets of the village, chokes the view of the roads, reflecting the moonlight in a way that obscures water itself and even starts to hide some of the buildings lower down towards the shore from you. It will be a slow and damp morning tomorrow, to be certain. You wait.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn to Sully. I don't know what I expected. I don't think it was this.
I can't say I did either. But we've come this far looking for answers.
Yeah.
Even saying that, though, what answers still seems like it escapes you, like it's something that you should know right at the tip of your tongue. But you just can't quite focus on. There was nobody out in the streets. No lit lanterns along the corners of the roads, no lights streaming through any windows. If you didn't know better, you could very well be the only people here.
I do have to say, this town is pretty eerie at night. I don't think the fog and the moon help anything either, and that's waiting for answers from probably a sham. Guess we're desperate enough for it, though.
Answers or not, all we can do is wait and see what we hear.
And what if we don't like it?
Aligns perfectly at the top of the tower like a light bulb. Pale glow passes that line, streaming down the front of it, almost as if a spotlight had turned on its base, illuminating the whole of this pillar against the sky, like a ray from heaven coming straight down. It disseminates, glowing, shattered through the mists near the bank. At that exact instant, you hear a scream from the building behind you.
Yeah, like,
Rush back in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Throwing open the door, you see a charnel house of gore and blood. The fortune teller, beyond recognition, absolutely eviscerated behind her table. The clothes she had been wearing are strewn in scraps near all throughout the room, and whatever happened with enough force to spray her blood to every wall of this small chamber you were just in. Building is not large. It has no other rooms. There is a small bedchamber separated by a curtain behind it that looks undisturbed. There are no other clear ways of entry.
Well, it seems like not a sham, but also does not look good for us.
I'm gonna get a little closer and try and look around and see if there's anything that wasn't here a moment ago, perhaps.
Looking
Something that might have caused this.
throughout the room, as cluttered as it is, with oddments and trinkets, nothing seems disturbed. Even small bits, ampules and vials, stood roughshod and in scattered arrays on small racks or leaned against shelves that are now coated with this blood. The force didn't even knock them over. It doesn't even seem to have moved the dust from any of the untouched bookshelves.
This almost seems possible.
Are there any, like, doors in the room, like, to lead?
There's a single curtain separating this chamber from a small sleeping area in the back kitchenette, but nothing else in this humble fortune teller's home.
I'd like to quietly approach the curtain, kind of like motioning to the group, and throw it back.
Throw the curtain back, and you can see through this doorway, immediately in front of you is a small little clay-fired stove. Some simple pans and implements hanging on the wall. Tucked around a corner, a bed, chest, small drawers of belongings. But as Sully looks in there and the rest of you watch, nothing immediately happens. Nothing emerges. And after a brief instant, with no warning, she disappears. Yanked back behind by some unseen force, throwing the curtain aside. Barely even the time to let out a scream before a viscous spray of dark blood shoots out and coats the wall atop the fortune tellers.
Oh, we need to get out of here.
Yeah,
You hear a
running for the
rattling
door.
hiss.
Go.
Yeah, I'm
Running for the door.
Oh my god. Wait, can we, like, Sully is, like, not visible?
All we see is a spray of blood.
Gone. As you run outside, everybody, shocked, sees that this spray coming out from the back was shot across the wall in streaks, but formed almost a strange little pattern. It doesn't look like it's shot exactly as a spray, so it's waving. It's stuck to the wall in strange ways. And as you turn to run, you see this lifeless corpse drop back down through the doorway. Cloak falling down from her head, revealing eyes fully rolled back and her mouth hanging agape.
Is it Sully?
It is Sully. A voice as you run out, not hers, not one any of you have ever heard, rolls from her mouth. Me. And you bolt out the door.
I slammed the door behind us too.
Before you get outside, slamming the door behind you, the fog has rolled up thick, forming banks feet tall, a veritable wall just a dozen feet in front of you, dividing this village in half. The street continues back behind you, away from it, but on the road that you're on, it's into the fog or back. What do you do?
Back.
Fog is
I
toward
want to
the
see what's
tower?
coming.
This fog seems much more supernatural than one object in that house.
The front door of the Oracle's parlor splinters outward in an ear-shattering explosion as the same thick yellow fog bursts out through the doorway, filling the street around you. What do you do?
Go, run.
Yeah.
Just make a decision.
Back,
Go now.
down the
I'll
street,
follow.
where we
Derp
can
is
see.
running away from this fog,
just gonna
away from the
follow.
bank, north.
Pushing Shelly, make sure she goes.
The four of you just roll me a d20, just a flat d20.
5.
5,
Also 3.
5, 3,
9.
9. I hope these are not indicative of how this campaign is going to go.
Nothing about time.
As the group of you go to run, Colby, taking that little moment to try and hurry the rest of you along and push you, puts him in the back of the group. And as you run, this fog rolling up the street, almost the same speed behind you, you see an arm extend out from it, seeming to materialize from this bank. Rotted, gnarled fingers wrapped in thick yellow bandages, twirled around all of their hand, draping and streaked with blood that looks like it's centuries old, reaches out and just grabs the back of Colby's cloak. Three of you, just enough distance, and I can Kevin in the back there feel his hand leave you as he is yanked back into the fog. And as the three of you run, his mangled body flies past you, tumbling through the dirt and the gravel in the street. His body looks like it has been near ripped in half. Limbs barely attached, one leg gone entirely. As it tumbles, leaving viscera and entrails behind where it rolls, you can see them splay out in the road ahead of you, almost forming the word save written through the gravel. You wanted your fortunes told. You questioned the methods. But here, this must mean something. The three of you, what do you do?
Is there
Continue running.
Is there a house nearby?
The houses on either side, they do frame the road. There are several storefronts, several homes with simple wooden doors. You could try to bash
Is
one
anything
through.
open? Yeah.
None of them are open.
I'm gonna try just bashing in.
You turn towards one, put your shoulder down, and immediately push through in this door. It is a simple wooden doorway. You crash through it with no problem. Dirk,
Continuing to
still
run.
running. Shelly?
I'm gonna assume that I heard the door crash open, so I'm gonna turn and go that way.
The two of you duck into the building. Derp continues down the road. The road hits an intersection, teeing off in two directions, not far
Left.
ahead of another building or two. But you getting to end, look to the left. You see the same fog wrapping around, coming in, looking to the right. See much the same thing.
I'm gonna try to barricade the door.
The last the two of you see as you turn, this fog washing past and starting to trickle in through the door frame as you go to shut it. Derp swallowed away in this fog. So two, you shut this door back and try to shove whatever simple furniture there is inside
I'll
this
run to the
humble
kitchen
abode
and
against
find,
it.
something in the kitchen.
Something.
Something.
For what? Something to defend yourself?
Yes.
Something to block
Yes.
the door?
I'm gonna go into the kitchen and grab a pan because I saw a pan in the other lady's house, and so that's the only thing that my brain can think of.
Be able to easily find one as you move an overstuffed plush
Bookshelves,
chair in
chairs.
front of the door, putting it right up in the front as the top of the door is shattered inward as the upper half of Derp's body smashes through it, draping over, clearly dead, this chair here. It then drapes, bisected just below his ribs, plopping into the chair in front of you.
Any other words written?
His head turns, and again a voice comes out. Up.
They're an upstairs? Is there a second floor to this house?
There is not, no. The small and simple village. The two of you that are left. Shelly has grabbed a frying pan of some kind. It doesn't look like there's really much for you to do. You've done your best to barricade the door, but with half of it destroyed now, the fog is starting to roll in. You can see a face forming in it. Bound again with ratty yellow bandages, looking like rotted strips of mummified cloth. A face that looks near human, but decrepit and beyond dead, peers through, its mouth hanging agape, pointed, rotted teeth visible like a row of brambles. Again, it simply hisses as it reaches and just starts to pull itself through this doorway.
Is there a back door?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to smash it in the face with my frying pan.
You were looking for a way out the back, looking for a window, looking for something. Shelly runs forward, frying pan, big ol' swing, runs up, and in a resounding metal clang as you smack your pan in the side of his head and move it an inch or two as he pivots. An arm reaches in and grabs your wrist that's gripping the pan. He pulls a leg up, folding almost like a spider to just clamber through here as his other arm has a notched, almost pointed, long razor. There's a window.
Okay, I'm out.
As you go, you hear Shelly scream as this razor is plunged directly down into her eye, as he uses that to snap her head all the way back, breaking her neck with this knife and ripping it through the top of her skull. You hear this last voice echoing seemingly from all around you. Wake! Wake! You see it in the clouds above, the dust before you, this word, wake, echoing all through this small alley you found yourself in, a fenced yard behind this home.
I'm gonna go towards the water and wake up, tower. I don't know. Just on a boat.
The fog is all around this yard. Anywhere you go trying to leave is going to lead you into this bank. You can hear thick footsteps as this tattered creature, whatever it is, approaches from inside the house. You can see his silhouette, shadow, cast across the broken window you've ripped through.
Can I climb like the fence and try to get up on the house? Just up.
You're scrambling. You're making your way. You get up to the thatched roof of this and can see over the top of all of these fog banks. You can see across the city seemingly swallowed in this mist. The tower, the moon still perfectly aligned above it. Well and truly lit. This is no trick of the light. There are symbols, runes, possibly archaic letters in bright, glowing yellow, emanating out, top to bottom of this tower, dozens of feet tall.
Do I know what any of this?
You hear one more time inside your head a voice that sounds like your own. Wake up.
I blink really hard. Try to wake up from a dream.
Roll me a d20.
Wake up check. A 3. Snooze button. 5 more minutes.
You focus. You try. You get this message. But if this is a dream, it's not one that you're easily awaking from. You look around on this island of a roof with nowhere to go, surrounded in a glistening yellow sea of fog. You see a hand clutching a razor on the edge of the roof.
I'm gonna kick it off. I'm gonna do like the Frank thing. Push it to the plank.
You go to try. This creature still pulls itself up in front of you. Standing tall, fully visible atop the roof now, clad wholly in these yellow, tattered rags. Standing towering a foot or two above you, the whole rest of everything else you see seems to go dark, and you hear again, "Wake up! Save me!"
Do I have like anything that can start a fire? Like,
What do you have?
I don't know. I imagine I have like some flint and tinder, some like general stuff for starting a campfire. I'm gonna try to light this roof on fire. If I have to go, taking it with me.
I'm gonna do what we can. You pull this out of a small pouch at your hip, strike it, and ignite the roof around you. This thatch and tar roof is waterproof, but catches very easily. The inferno rips around you. You feel this heat. You see a hand from this tattered creature reaching towards you. Roll me one more d20.
Is it looking it's in pain? Is it reacting to this?
It does not.
I've gone from 5 to 3 to 1.
A hand, seemingly undeterred by the fire, clouds your vision. It grabs your face. At that, everything for all of you has gone dark.
It's over.
Thanks for joining us, our Strange Aeons.
TPK.
The group of you are jolted awake by screams of agony. All of you shot to consciousness. Before you, you see little but damp, sagging stones of walls and ceilings around you. You are in small chambers, cordoned off from a central hall by a series of iron bars, much like a jail cell. Looking at the scene before you, each of you sees a wide table laid out in the center of this hallway with a man who's had his wrists, his ankles, and his head bound to it. There's blood running down the wood of the table as he screams in agony. A woman looms over him, dressed in a simple, dingy, white medical gown, with what looks to be a handmade knife in her hand, just slowly digging it through his shoulder, cocking her head as she watches the blood run down his arm. And the man, writhing in pain, screams again, "Wake up, damn it! Do something! Save me!"
Is this beyond our cell bars, or?
This is on the other side of your cell bars. All of you see this scene at once, but from slightly different angles. As all but one of you are trapped in these small cells, paired with another. Let us introduce our cast. The Strange Aeons. Before we do, how you doing, Sully?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, this is gonna be a horror campaign. We have
Oh gosh.
Well, we already died, so it can't get worse than that.
Yeah, you died 2 more times.
You dumped me in the chair asking for uppies.
you died
Oh,
basically
man,
immediately. So like, what's the worst thing that can happen? Before we get into this, what's our current state of blesses and banes? I did see like a lot of those go by.
Oh gosh.
Everybody has a bless.
Oh.
Because unfortunately, oh, was that me? Oh, including me. I have a bless.
Oh.
Everyone go ahead and put a bless down on the table in front of you. Each in those little bags there, you got this little purple D6 here we just used to indicate that.
It's the other one.
I'm Banes now. If you fail a roll, if you fail a roll by 1, if a +1 would change your degree of success, and we'll talk about what that is later. Just keep in mind that you've got these little things. They're here to help you. We'll start from the far left side here, because I believe for the purposes of my own sanity, I literally just put them in pairs in the order that they are. First, we have a woman. She has, well, I'm not going to give you a lot of descriptive features because this is, after all, your character. But huddled here in a little more than a dingy smock, where you seem to have been stuffed in this cell, a simple burlap shirt and leggings underneath it. The most very obvious feature visible to anyone who would look at you would be your piercing yellow eyes. Which of these 3 images here do you think best represents what you would like to look like? And you can turn your character sheet over.
The whole thing.
Shelly goes
kinda
first.
cool.
Shelly goes first.
I like this.
I'm going to give you all an option between 3 of these as the starting point for your character artwork. But of course, your character is yours, and it will come to develop exactly how you want them to look in time. Don't feel like you are contained by any of these sketches right here, but feel free to pick one as a starting base, and then take a moment if you need to describe to us what you look like in as much detail as you want.
I'll take the one on the bottom.
Okay?
Then I have to describe what I look like. But
Go and give me a character description.
there's no mirrors in here. How do I know what I look
You-
like?
you just-
Checkmate.
Suspend disbelief of the lack of mirrors right now. You can look soulfully into Colby's eyes and see your own reflection.
Whoa.
Really, it's because I'm wearing a white smock. I can't actually see the thing.
That's
in there.
fair. Give me as much or as little. Don't feel like you have to lock yourself into a detailed character description right now. Give me
Yeah.
as much or as little as you want to describe this character that you just saw for literally the first time that
Right.
chat did.
Oh my gosh.
Piercing yellow eyes.
That one
apparently.
is definitely there.
Very like curly hair that's just like a little bit longer than my shoulders. And it's brown. And I'm like 5'4". I'll leave it there.
Despite your nature and your visage, it's clear to anyone who could see you that you are quite physically capable. You are no small, defenseless girl. With this character sheet that Shelly has just flipped over at her desk, she has little more information than what you are seeing on the screen right now. The only thing that is filled in on her sheet are her core 6 stats and anything that they factor into.
they can
Hey,
see
Quinn, the
that
dice
if they
camp for a
look
sec
at it.
there if you
Oh
want.
yeah, there you go.
That's all you
As
get.
well as her hit
my
points, because that's not determined by proficiency or anything. And honestly, it's just going to make my life way easier if you just know how much HP you have.
What? You gonna turn it? Is that what you're saying?
Is that down?
It is otherwise entirely blank. She does not know what her class is. She does not know her ancestry. She has no idea what skills or feats she may have. The only one with that information.
Oh my god.
I love the envelopes.
It's like,
We need a little clipboard, like a little doctor.
we just have a separate
yeah.
heist campaign going on.
I have your files. I have all of your files. And as we move through this adventure, we're going to work together to discover who you are.
I'm excited.
What?
Help.
Derp, you have a hero point from TNT DMD.
As expected,
I
baby.
love that, man.
So go ahead and take that one. In the cell with you, Shelly, since we don't have a name, I'm still going to have to call you that for now, is another figure. Again, you clearly have some physical training. You are not weak by any means, but this man you are in the cell with is a massive mountain of a being. He is a hulking, green-skinned figure with clear and visible protruding tusks, as well as what appears to be some very ancient, heavy scarring across some part of his face or neck. Colby, which one of these three do you think you look like? And you can flip your character sheet over.
I like the bottom one.
2 for 2 on the bottom picture, all right.
Bottom or
No
top
pressure,
right, but
no
like
pressure.
bottom one looks good.
Now I have to pick something different.
Yeah. Gotta be different.
You are a massive mountain of physical specimen, but that does not necessarily mean that you have to be 12 feet tall. Again, I'm giving you the base descriptions. Everything I am telling you is a degree of intrinsic to your character. Everything else is still in your hands. It is your character, after all. So take a moment if you need, and then as much or as little as you want. Describe your character to us.
You see, he's about 6'8". He is tall. He's built like a warrior. He's just not so much like super high deft muscles, but he's just bulky. He has that scar running from his brow all the way to the back of his head, as though something has cleaved through and healed over. And he wears a straight face, as though he's not, the man screaming to him is not even phasing one bit. That's about where we're going to leave that.
The two of you are trapped in this stone cell with little available at hand, save for a ratty and molding heap of straw pushed to one side next to a simple wooden bucket. The two of you can see that across the hallway, there is another cell with a single figure in it. You cannot see is the cell alongside you, holding 2 more of our players here. Derek, the next in the line is an interesting figure. You have a wide, round head and pointed ears. Your skin somewhat gray and leathery. And your stature, well, I suppose I'll leave that up for you to decide entirely. But which of these 3 goblinoid figures looks the most like you?
Man, the eyebrows on the top left one.
I like bushy brows.
Bushy brows, man.
It's a strong choice.
Solid choice. Statement.
Pointed, like, facial figure, short cut back, almost like he did it himself, hair without really looking. Stubble across the face. Again, looks like he does it himself, but the eyebrows, woolly worms.
Now, I should clarify, you are no goblin. You are not 3 feet tall. In fact, no matter how tall or short you want to be personally, you tower over your cellmate here. What would be pretty much a minimum of doubling her height. You are a stout and sturdy figure, but you can flip your character sheet over as well. That
I'll go for about 6'2".
sort of hides a hidden intelligence. You are, well, kind of all over the place in the mental stats department, as you can see there.
It's the chiseled jawline. It takes away from the wisdom.
This ancestry is a very hard one to figure out what he might be. This one's an absolute puzzler. But Next to you in your small cell, both of you again in little more than these very simple burlap clothes and these dingy smocks over them. Your cell with one small rotted cushion that looks like it's lost most, if not all of its filling, next to a heap of straw, the bucket knocked aside, is an incredibly tiny figure. A woman very, very small in frame and stature. Absolutely topping out at like 3'6". But with a bright pastel pink tinge in her hair.
Ooh.
And pointed ears poking through. Sully, which of these three
Oh my
represents you?
gosh. The top left one is super cute. I like the little smirk. Oh my gosh, that's great.
You can flip your character sheet over as well. I didn't really do this on purpose and didn't actually realize until just now that we just went giant physical legend, giant physical legend, giant physical legend. Extremely tiny
Legend.
who quite literally has 8 strength. You are
I got guns. Don't believe them. Don't believe what they say.
Your looks are up to you, but you are a very, very small being here in the
Oh
cell.
my gosh.
But that said, you are very well learned, very cunning. And even now, surely your mind is racing for answers. You want to give us a brief, as much as you want, description of your character?
Yeah, I think you see kind of plopped crisscross applesauce on the moldy mattress, kind of looking up at the giant tower, like sitting at like a good old solid like 2'5", maybe. 2'5"
You went from looking at the tower in the
3/4.
nightmare to looking at the tower in the cell right next to you.
You see, obviously, this very slight little lady, ears poking out from kind of tousled, ratty, probably done ages ago, braids that are just hanging in there. And you see these piercing, wide eyes just darting, taking in everything around her with obviously horror, but even just a sense of excitement with just a small smirk in her face.
It's not just your eyes that are assessing the room. So if you reach down under your desk there is a stack of white card sleeves.
Okay.
One of them says Heritage on the back.
Okay, yes, this one.
You want to flip that over.
Okay.
That is going to be an ability that is immediately apparent to you because you are not just using your vision.
Oh. Sensate gnome. I'm a gnome.
Heavy, coppery scent hangs in the air from the blood of the man before you, something that is extremely sharp to you. Your sense of smell honed so well that even with your eyes closed, you could more or less pinpoint Derp, the man on the table, woman looming over him. You can in fact even tell that there are 2 figures in this cell next to you, just from their distinct, definitive sense.
Oh my gosh. So you see all that, and then she goes,
Big sniffer.
there's 2 on the right. Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Like Christmas.
It is like,
Finally.
oh my gosh.
I'm going to take a moment here to say that I've thought hard and given much preparation into foisting characters you have never seen before upon the group of you. All of you have similar decks under your desks that you will, like, I will tell you individual cards. They're all labeled on the back. Things like class feat, ancestry feat, heritage, ability 1. Don't look through them. Don't look at them right now. I have a nice little reference right here with exactly what is on every one of your cards. But you will not have to write 3 paragraphs of some kind of a feat down on your paper. When I tell you what it is, you will have references for everything. Cool. 2 of you in your cell together can look directly across this sealed hall. Wherever you are, it looks like the corridor of a castle or a basement. flagstones wide and flat on the floor are squared and mortared, mostly evenly, although they are slicked with blood and grime. The walls look like their structure is sound and well made. Whoever built this place did it well and with care, though the effort clearly put into its architecture is undermined by its current state. The floor, both in and outside of your cells, is strewn with rubble, lengths of broken timber, and errant stones. The ceiling, sagging in some places, is caved several inches entirely in others under the weight of whatever is above this hall. You can see little beyond this area. The hallway in front of you is only maybe 20 feet across, 30, 40 long. Those of you unfortunate enough to be able to see around the corner to the adjoining room, here, even without this ability, smell the death and rot. See the edge of what looks to be a mound of corpses and refuse. You four can see it all very clearly, because though the table in front of you is lit by several lanterns set in sconces on either end of the hall, again, this worked out really well in order, the first three of you can see beyond that flawlessly. The color fades from your vision, but all three of you do have dark vision. And Sully, while you do not have full dark vision, you do have low light vision. So the dim nature of the lamps and the little bit of light eking into the rooms beyond does not bother you. The same cannot be said.
Hey.
I'm still here.
Get wrecked, brother. Sorry.
Directly
My glasses.
across the hall from Derp and Sully's cell is another cell with but a single figure stood within it.
I'm alone.
Dressed much the same as everyone else. His appearance does not immediately belie anything striking. He looks, for all immediate observation, to be a normal human man. Which of these three normal human men, Kevin, resonates the most with you?
I don't know, go top right.
I was gonna say the top right's got a nice.
Yeah,
He's got a good little face, kind of. Yeah, well, it's like his
Right,
expression, and the hair's good.
The only immediate and striking feature that you have, I just kind of waited for a location for you to pick one, is a tattoo across the side of your neck that looks to be in a very vibrant blue ink. Aside from that, though, Kevin, want to give us a bit of a description of your character?
I mean, I'll go with what's there. Yeah, like just messy,
Yeah,
unkempt
lean as
kind of
into what you
hair,
want to.
bushy eyebrows. I don't know, brown eyes. Average height. I don't know, 5'10". You do see me at the bars, being like, because I can see the table from where I am. Or
Yeah, the table.
Yeah.
You can almost reach the table.
yeah, I'm like,
from
I'm
where
up,
you are,
and I'm like, oh,
Outside of the bars, what would be just barely outside of arm's length, maybe like 3 feet further, again, the hallway is not super wide, is this impromptu operating table.
Yeah.
It looks like that was not its original purpose, but with this man currently bound atop it and his torturer looming over him, there's little else it could be called now. The woman has her back to your cell, Kevin, and she as well is maybe just like if you were reaching maybe a foot beyond the reach of your fingertips. And you don't get a clear view of what she's doing, and she's leaned over, just running this knife through his shoulder as he screams in agony. And again, almost like a cat, his head cocked to the side, sort of looking. Everybody, go ahead and make me a perception check, and I will tell you your various proficiencies and modifiers, so we can get that one on the board immediately, style. Kevin.
yeah, 2.
Well, I'm gonna give you your number. Let me give you
I
your
never
numbers,
flip-
and you can
I'm
give me
supposed
the
to flip this,
total.
right? You didn't say flip it?
Yeah, you can flip it again. Kevin,
Yes.
you are an expert in perception. This is over about center right on your character sheet. This is the skill. It's not technically a skill, but I don't know what else to call it. That's going to come up very frequently for your awareness of your situation, initiative that determines your turn order should combat start. It's going to get used a lot. You're an expert in perception, giving you a total of +6.
Oh, nice.
Sully,
Yes.
you are trained in perception, giving you a total of +5. You can also denote your low light vision and your scent in the little senses box right there, if you want to.
Yes. I'd love to make a
Derp, you are an expert in perception, giving you +4. You have dark vision. Colby, you are an expert in perception and have +5. You have dark vision. And Shelly, you are an expert in perception and have +5.
Hey, listen. Wait, everybody else is an expert?
Yes.
Okay, wait. I'm
You are
Expert is
trained.
very common.
But you got the smell vision.
So you gotta process more senses at once. So
Yeah.
like it's hard for
Oh,
you
yeah,
to hone
fair.
in.
Not everybody else has a sniffer like this one.
Big Soul says, I think Derp should have at least 2 hero points. Always.
Whoa.
Always.
So go ahead and put a second coin down
They'll be gone soon.
right
Oh,
there.
absolutely. Not on
the
this
way-
roll, though.
That's the way that he plays.
You don't get them if you don't spend them.
As he screams, all of you, now that we have been introduced, vaguely, woman still pulling this knife through. She is not simply a tracing line down his collarbone here. This blade is plunging fairly deep into his flesh. You can tell by the scent, by how dark the blood is, how thick it runs, as you can even see a little of the beat of the pressure as it comes out.
I'm gonna scream too and be like let him alone. Leave him alone. What are you doing?
Lord Umbrin, a round of good fortunes and good times to everyone except Derp. You're good. Everyone else can also take a hero point as well.
Yes.
Whoa.
Sorry, y'all. One on the base there.
Oh my gosh.
She stops, and her head kind of twitches a little bit. Her nose wrinkles, and she looks up and raises her free hand and just slaps at the guy. Stop! Stop! Quiet! I can't focus! And this does not stop him from screaming in pain, nor screaming from help. But all of you go and make that. Tell me your perception check there, Kevin.
Oh, I had a 2 + 6, so 8.
8.
Nat 20.
What?
Yay!
Sully, open at 1. There we go. Derp.
22.
22 total.
21 total.
21 total.
18 total.
18 total. And this is just the D20 plus those modifiers I just gave them.
We rolled a 19 and a 20. So.
Heck yeah.
Everybody but Kevin.
I'm just
Kevin.
concerned.
Well, he
Would
can't see. It's
see-
too dark.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
Yeah, on the front of this woman's medical gown, she's got a belt drawn around. She has a visible ring of small keys hanging from her belt. Keys look pretty small, much like the locks to the front of each of the cells you are currently stuck in. As her smacking just does nothing, this manatee just keeps screaming, I learn? How do I learn? How do I learn if you won't shut up? And she slams this little knife down on a tray that she has sitting down at the corner of the table, knocking askew a bunch of other small implements she has. An old rusted scalpel, a little hooked piece of metal, several just shards of glass. Why? 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 Why is your blood thin and weak? Why does your skin lose so much color when it flows? And she just picks up about a 2 fingers sized shard of glass, just holding it in her palm and just grips it. Thumb and her pinky around the jagged edges, seemingly undeterred. Starts to just use the tip of it to poke at this wound she just cut. Another round of screams come forth from this man. What are you all doing?
Watching her do that,
I'm
I'm
yelling.
probably going to start like trying to kick the bars down. Like, let me out of here.
Hey, lady. I'm trying to get her attention. Hey, lady.
Hey, lady. Kick door
Like,
very
actively
hard.
yelling and trying to
I'm
get
looking
out.
at the hinges of this. Like, I'm assuming I can see the cell door and like looking at the mechanisms. I'm gonna see if I can just like screw around with the hinges and get the door to unlock and then not
Unscrew
locked
them
away.
with what?
Well, I'm going to probably throw my shoulder into it.
Oh,
Yeah.
unscrew them. Okay, unscrew is the wrong word for what we're going to be doing.
No, I'm seeing
All
if
right.
it's like a doable thing. And then I'm like, man, it seems like it's more likely to give on that side than the other side. Yeah.
Yeah, you too.
I'm gonna try and, as he's trying to kick down the bars, I'm gonna try and like squeeze like, over them.
You're trying to fit through the bars. He's kicking the door.
You said she's like a foot away from me or so?
But like a foot outside your, like if you reach your hand all the way to the bar, she's about a foot away from that.
Okay, but she like knocked a bunch of stuff to the ground. Is there anything I can reach? Like,
She kind of hit it. A couple of pieces would have fallen onto the floor. The rusty scalpel and what looks like a broken shard of a clay urn, both would have just fallen onto the floor nearby and scattered over towards you.
can I reach the rusty scalpel?
Absolutely.
I'll grab it.
She looks up into your cell, ignoring your yelling, but looking at your giant banging on the door here. Wait, your turn. I can fix all of you. I need time. Wait your turn. Stop.
Probably just stopping at that moment, looking at her with a cockeye, like, is she crazy? Like, just thinking that to myself.
Does she look like she's not? Does there
I just woke up.
exude sanity? That's fair. Well, you stop for a moment, and she turns back down with a piece of glass. So you can see this man's body is covered in various cuts and gashes from these experiments. His skin is pale and near colorless. Even this agony, you can tell, is much less pitched effort than it probably was, as he starts to run low of energy and struggles to stay conscious, much less alive. She throws a piece of glass to the ground and it just shatters. Let me see. And bends down and just literally uses both of her thumbs to press down on this big gash she just made and spread it a little bit, enough to inspire this man with a little bit more energy. Why doesn't it heal? Picks up her little knife again and just stabs it into her forearm. You see a little spray of blood, just, and then near nothing. Mine heals. Mine is fine. What is wrong with yours? Why is all of your skin wrong?
Is there any like pebbles or anything laying around on the drill saw I can pick up?
There would be some rubble, certainly from where the ceiling has started to give way a little bit. Some pieces of stone, maybe up to the size of a palm, have been knocked loose.
I'm gonna grab one, I'm gonna reach my arm through the cell and just kind of chuck it at her.
So I'm assuming like you hitting the bars did not break it then, right? Does the bucket have a metal handle on it?
The bucket would have a metal handle. As you start walking the bars, he kind of reaches through and throws this little thing. The pail would have like a metal handle, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Let me, boop. Colby, my friend, you would be trained in ranged attacks, which would give you a +5 total. Just roll me a d20 then, add 5 to it for an attack roll, see if you hit her with this rock and throw it to the bars.
You know what? I want to go ahead and use it because I have it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and spin this right here for a hero point. Thank you.
Started with a 3.
Started with a
Better.
3. So +5, that makes 22.
22. As you throw it,
That's the spirit.
this little rock absolutely just cracks the side of her temple as she's having a little bit of a tantrum here. And just doink, she recoils, puts her hand up like reflexively, like someone who just had a rock thrown at them. Puts her head down and shoots her fists. Still head down, she slowly walks around the table up towards the front of your cell and looks up at you with your face. Her skin now green, her face much wider and thicker, tusks jutting out. You are looking at a paired mirror of 2 identical orcish faces. I said, wait.
I am quiet. You're the one screaming.
I'm trying to learn. How can I help you if I don't know what's wrong? Even her voice has changed. It's lower, it's gravelly. It's heavy and thick, though she talks in the same cadence, the same way that she had before.
How close is she to the bars?
She is right up to them. Those keys just like hanging right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to sleight of hand that as quick as I can to see if I can get those keys off.
And it's, I see that I want to try to actually reach her and grab her.
Well, she's quite distracted.
Hit her with the
Shelly.
1-2 combo.
You are trained in thievery and have a +7. Roll a d20, add that thievery skill. Let's see how you do.
It's definitely not. I would use this hero point. Rolling threes at this table today. 16.
16 total.
9 on the die, 16.
Okay. You reach out as Colby reaches for her to grab onto her. You reach and grab, and through the bars, I mean, you can only do so much. She immediately just shoves back with a very surprising strength as her face melts back in to the pallid, long face that it was, framed with damp red hair. As she pulls away, though, Shelly has the keys in her hands.
Ooh.
I'm going to very quickly hide the fact that they're in my hands.
Their cell is adjacent to ours, correct?
There's cell, yes, you're in the same wall. So there's not bars between you. These are like two independent stone cells, a couple feet between them.
I was curious.
You would have seen her kind of walk up out of view
Yeah.
and hear this and then push back.
This doesn't have to be hard. This doesn't have to be hard.
Do you know how much better you could be?
Do you know how much better all of them could be? Everyone I tried to help just dies.
And she's turning, yelling at this pile that you can see in the adjoining room.
They bleed and they die.
Are you sure? I think I see that one moving. You did a great job on him.
Derp, you are trained in deception with a +4. Would you like to give me a deception?
Sure. 20.
Well,
16
20?
plus 4.
She turns and looks over. Did it work? Did I find the cure? And shoots past your cell into the adjoining. And you can hear her
I
start.
am going to use those keys.
Shelly immediately, to try a couple of them, unlocks the door. So
I'm gonna see that these people are in the same situation that I am, and I'm assuming I recognize them from my dream. Yes, this is okay.
you didn't really, there were a lot of like features in your dream, really.
What's that?
There were a lot of like features.
That's
Even when like the hood
true.
came off,
Yeah,
totally
I'm
didn't
just
really look
assuming that
like
if they're
anything.
an enemy is my enemy is my
Yeah.
friend, so
You
I'm
do not
unlocking their
recognize
things too. Yeah.
All right. You open your cell, and you go around, and you open Derp and Sully's cell. And as you go to open theirs, your door opened fairly easily. Theirs lets out a loud metal creak that echoes to the room. And you hear the voice, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And immediately see her face back around the corner again as you are literally like standing there with the door open. Colby and Derp and Sully in their cell, and Kevin still is in his on the other side. And she just screeches, "I said wait!" And as she does, the human features disappear from her face. Her pupil expanding until the whole of both of her eyes are black. The hair shoots and recedes back into her head as her skull elongates and expands into almost an alien form, her chin narrowing down. Here, I would say we should roll initiative, but I think we can do that when we get back from our break. We're going to stand up and take our midstream break real quick. And then if you're interested in how Pathfinder 2nd Edition is played or a little more of the tabletop mechanics, we're going to get into a lot of interesting things as soon as we return. And don't worry, I'm going to be walking everyone through it. It's going to be about 10 minutes, so feel free to grab some snacks, use the bathroom. Don't go too far. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. I want to take a moment to thank everyone for joining us so far in the premiere. A lot of preparation and mental energy has gone into this, and I am so extremely happy with how it's working so far and how much support you guys are all given just by being here in the chat. I'm not ignoring you. I have my Twitch chat right here. And I see you. I'm just I'm so focused. I've got so many plates right now.
I do want to point out, like earlier when Sully got the heritage, someone in the chat was like, "Look under your chairs," and I had a very I wasn't logged into the chat yet, but it's like, you get a heritage, and you get a heritage, and you get a heritage.
just handing out
really appreciate it. Like, we're
superpowers.
seeing that. It's great. Yeah.
These cards right here, I'm not
Keep
allowed
them
to
in
look
there,
at.
yeah.
But speaking of preparation and things that I have put into this, before we roll initiative and get into our first combat with Strange Aeons, I want to explain something else. Before we get into Pathfinder rules, I want to get into the stuff that I just made up. This is a first edition campaign, and it came out alongside a book Paizo put out called Horror Adventures, which had rules for Madness's Insanity. I have also converted those to second edition. Each of you has a little baggie of goods. Some of you, Kevin, who are looking through, asking, what are these?
What's in the bag?
This baggie.
There are a bunch of little red, like, Mancala pieces in there.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Since everybody died in the nightmare,
There you go. There's my cam.
all of you take 6
What?
and put them on the table in front of you.
Is that all that's in here?
I was so close to not.
On the table?
I just mean like it's just beads so I can look in here and get them.
Yeah, no, you can look at there's nothing in there you can't look at. Don't worry
There's a
about
spider
that.
in one of them.
We found them. These are Harold. I like to keep you on your toes. Harold. One of those is just full of snakes. Wait, did nobody find the snakes? 'Cause
One
that's
is
a
a jelly
problem.
bean.
This is a new little rule set I'm going to add on that I'm going to explain before we begin. That I'm calling the stress system. Each of you currently have 6 stress. Understandable. Been a bit of an opener.
We died.
We died.
Yeah, dying is pretty stressful.
Stress is something that is constantly going to haunt you. That number is going to go down very infrequently, and it is going to be difficult for you to manage. A lot of things might make it increase. Do not let it get to 10.
It's
kinda hard to-
We got a very good start on that one. I am not going to tell you a lot of the specifics. All you need to know is that having 6 of them is pretty bad.
It does make a little triangle though.
I do. I can't not read this. Sokapan in the chat, they've done it. They've finally gamified anxiety. It's too good to not acknowledge. That's beautiful.
3 more.
So, I will tell you, you're gonna gaining stress it's gonna be difficult. I intend for managing this to be a major part of the campaign. It is not gonna go down easily, and when it goes down, it's gonna go down by 1. You're not going to do anything. It's going to set your stress to 0. You really probably don't want to hit 10. It will not be the end of the world. You will not die. You may wish you had.
That kind of makes my stress go up a little bit.
I'll get there.
Personal meter?
Not try for that.
I will tell you
I'll get there this session.
that much like in real life, none of us can imagine the intensity of a situation like what you 5 have been thrust into here. But even dealing with stress that we deal with in our day-to-day lives, it does control you somewhat. Stress can make you reactive. It can make you instinctive. Make you make choices that might not be very wise. So keep that in mind. You will discover how stress works and its consequences as we play. I will give you one more thing. because this is a major change from the first edition mechanics of madness. Nobody is any better or worse than anybody else in handling stress. It does not matter if you are a wizard who has spent his life studying all facets of magic, a monk who is trained to control their emotions, or a drunken barbarian wild in his way through life. Stress is stress. It's going to hit all of us in a similar way. Your stats aren't going to save you. Now, we left off. 2 of you are out of a cell. 2 of you are in an open cell. 1 of you is very still in jail. But this woman, whoever she is, not happy about it.
He's creep.
We are going to start our first combat by rolling initiative. In second edition, you are going to roll a d20, and you are going to add that perception modifier that we got earlier. This simply gauges how quickly you are able to react as the woman lunges
Look at us.
toward Kelly.
Oh, you got
2 10s.
2 10s.
Oh, okay.
Perfectly average, as all things should be. Slightly worse than perfectly average. So we'll go around here. Shelly,
22.
I don't have any art in these initiative tokens
Oh my gosh.
because I don't know what you look like, but I do have the color of your dice and the color of your microphone and your token. So we'll have to go with for now. Colby,
13.
13.
Also 13.
Dirk, who wants to go first? When you tie in Pathfinder second edition, you can
I'll
just
go
choose.
first.
Okay. Sully,
15?
15. And Kevin,
11 plus 6, 17. Rolled above a 10 first.
feeling good. This woman also gets a 17.
Oh.
And in Pathfinder second edition, enemies win ties.
After you?
I don't like it.
Hey.
That's a
Hey,
It's a
listen.
In her rage,
abomination.
tongue. Okay.
she starts to lose her form, her limbs narrowing and extending, her fingers stretching out in a long black claws. As she screams, you can see this almost serpentine tongue flash in and out of her mouth, forked at the end, deep purple. Shelly, fortunately, the target of her ire, you, the first to act. Now we're in an interesting situation here because you don't know much about your character. So don't worry about that. Just tell me what you do.
All right, so I'm gonna turn to Colby. Hey, big guy, watch my back, and I'm gonna see if I can use an action to get this other cell door open with the keys that I'm holding.
Quickly sprint across the hallway and fumble with the keys. Every turn in Pathfinder, you get 3 actions. 1 to move, 1 to unlock this door. I'll give you 1
Yeah.
action with the key.
Okay.
And 1 to throw the door open in front of Kevin.
Yeah.
This whole turn being sacrificed to free
Thank you.
the last of the prisoners here.
I mean, I'm doing it for self-preservation too here.
This isn't really about you.
Watch your back.
And then the creature just walks up and eats you. Like, you're just gone.
As you throw it open, this creature rushes out of the hall towards the door at the same time that you do. Not your turn! No! And she reaches out to grab a hold of Shelly. She is going to attempt to grab you, and she is going to make a roll against your Fortitude DC. Fortitude is one of your 3 saving throws, kind of center mass on your character sheet. You are trained in Fortitude, so you have a +4. That means your DC, what she has to beat is that +10, so 14.
Okay.
As she rolls her check to grab a hold of you. She is going to get a 19. Normally I would ask you if that succeeds, but since I have to tell you the numbers, I'm well aware that it does. She grabs a hold of Shelly, and twisting, you see her feet leave the ground as this woman in nurse's outfit bodily throws her into the cell next to Kevin, where she slams against the back wall and takes 5 points of bludgeoning damage.
Stay there!
Kevin, in the cell with her. What do you do?
I'm just gonna. Can I close it? No. It's closed. I'm gonna try to I'm gonna stab her with the scalpel I have. I'm gonna see.
You take this scalpel. She's right in front of you. You move your hand forward, and as you do, almost automatically, you let go. You let go of the scalpel, and a word escapes your mouth. You're not even sure what it was. But you say something, and this accelerates like a bullet out of your hand towards the nurse.
Okay.
You have your 5th cantrip. As you instinctively use that as the focus to cast telekinetic projectile.
I think he's a cat.
Whoa.
Oh my gosh, magical.
Cantrip 5 should have all the information about telekinetic projectile.
Curl loose an unintended object. That's what I had in my hand.
That's the thing that I have. Now you are going to make a spell attack roll. It's going to be on the 3rd page of your character sheets where all your spells live. If you want to add telekinetic projectile there later, you can do that. But for now, what matters is all the way up in the top left is your spell attack roll and your spell DC.
Okay.
You are trained in both of those, giving you a +7 as your attack and a 17 as your spell DC. You are a charisma-based caster. That means you're going to roll me a d20 and add 7
Let's go.
to see if this scalpel hits.
17 plus 7. It's 24.
24 absolutely will hit.
Oh my gosh.
At this
dude.
point, if you say a 24 misses, I'm running.
How much damage does your card say that telekinetic
1d6
projectile
plus spellcasting ability modifier.
is? Which is
7?
4.
Which is a 4.
Because it's the charisma part of that. Your spellcasting ability is charisma. You have 18 charisma. That's a +4 charisma. So whenever something asks for your spellcasting ability modifier, it's going to be 4.
Okay. So 1d6 plus 4. 2 plus 4, 6.
6 points of damage.
Solid.
Is there rust damage? Is there tetanus damage?
Oh, come on. Yeah.
Years from now.
That accelerated healing should speed
That
up
happens near automatically in an instant as you see. Well, what happens? This is your spell.
Yeah, I was going to stab it and it slips out of my hand and then just goes like straight into her chest. And I'm like, whoa.
It startles you as much as her.
Yeah.
It sticks into her chest clearly, and she winces and screeches back in pain. You have 1 action left.
I'm gonna close the door. It's like, if I can just throw
Fine.
things, she doesn't have to hear me.
That's fair. Wise, honestly, can't.
Do we hear it lock as he closes it? Is
The
it
latch does
auto-locking
lock
like a
as he
hotel?
shuts it. Yes.
I mean, I hope that the keys are still in my hand. at
One
this
way to find
point.
out.
So he shuts the key, locking the both of you back in this cell here.
Oh, is this okay?
Sully,
Okay, so is our door still unlocked?
your door is open.
Oh, it's open. It's still okay. Everything's good. Okay, I'm going to keeping as low to the ground as possible. Start to sneak out and approach her table of sharp things. And I'm just gonna kind of not even really look. I'm just gonna kind of like scoop a bunch and then get ready to start throwing them.
That's fair.
I got some things. I'm gonna throw the thing.
Yeah.
So you end up moving over with 1 action, grabbing some implements. You end up with this small little hooked, almost what looks like a dental tool, piece of metal, the handmade knife, and a shard of glass the size of a few fingers in your hands.
Okay.
With 1 action left, you can absolutely just throw one at her and see how that goes. You are going to be trained in ranged attacks, and you are going to have a +4 to hit.
Excellent. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay. Range. Okay. So I kind of wheel back and I just chuck the shard of glass as hard as I can. Nat 20! Yes.
There's no confirming critical hits in second edition. That just critically hits. That shard of glass flies through, and she's not moving. She's stunned by what just happened with Kevin. What happens?
I chuck it, and the light glints as it's hitting towards you, this piece of thin glass, as it just sinks nearly silently, just gracefully in the back of her neck.
As that sticks in there, she's got a scalpel in the front, a shard of glass in the back. It thuds, and she doesn't move at all, still just kind of in shock. Here's the bad news. You can't throw it very hard.
Oh, no!
Your damage, you got a crit, so your damage is going to be doubled, but the damage is going to be 1d4 minus 1 because you have very low strength.
Now, there is the bright side. You can't do negative.
Yeah, you can't do 0, so like the lowest you can do is 2. The 1 minus 1 is still 1 in second edition. We reinvented math.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so do I roll twice,
You just
or
roll
do I?
1d4 and double it.
Okay. 4.
Hey,
4.
6 points damage, the same as a
That's the
scalpel.
best
What
outcome.
they say isn't true. I got the biggest muscles in here.
Compared to the proportional to size, yeah.
Yes.
A solid hit. Derp.
Oh, seeing that everybody's just going in on it. Did you put the sharp instruments anywhere, or you just kind of have them in
She
your
has them in her hand.
Yeah. I've got like.
Take everything. There's
I
still some
just-
stuff
a
on the
little
table.
sheath.
All right, I'm gonna walk up behind her, grab something off the table, and just jam her with it.
Okay. You're looking for something sharp, or there's a metal tray that all this stuff is in.
The tray's fine, just the thing that I can hit. The tray more heft perfect.
You
Grab
pick
the
up-
tray and just boom.
You pick up the whole tray, moving in and slamming with your third action. Your attack roll is probably going to make you smile at least a little bit. You are an expert with melee weapons, and you have +9 to hit.
So good. It makes me smile. You're bringing back like core memories.
My
here.
man's got a tray.
After he decks her, I'm just gonna be like,
Plus
you can
9.
have those actually.
+9. Because you got 4 from your strength, and expert proficiency is 5. 2 from trained,
Yeah,
2 from
I forgot
expert,
my
1
level.
from your level.
I was like,
Oh
where'd
my
the other
gosh.
one come from?
Yeah, 9 to hit. You ever want to relive the
Well,
glory days of Nell?
Immediately
Yeah, no.
spending it again. I rolled a 9 and I'm just not happy with that.
Roll higher, not lower. Roll higher, not lower.
2 and 11 for a 20.
20 will hit. It's a pretty sturdy metal tray. I'm going to give it D6 bludgeoning damage plus your strength modifier 4.
That's going to be 6 damage.
We're very consistent.
Yes, we are.
Same. The same. Muscle boy and
Everyone's
me.
coming up high five. By our powers combined, I deal 6 damage.
Camaraderie.
Colby.
I'm going to walk up next to her. I'm just going to try to grab her by the tongue and yank her to the ground.
So as you move towards her, you stride with purpose, but find yourself kind of naturally moving over and flitting up kind of against the wall out of her view. With your level of stress here, you're going to use one action to move up. You're going to reach for that, but you're kind of going to give her a bit of a 1-2. Instinct's going to take over. Your second action after moving is going to be to feint. You are going to make a deception check, at which you are trained and have a +4.
$14 total.
She's pretty distracted, almost distracted enough that just doesn't really make much of a difference. And then as you try to get her attention with the one hand, the other fist is just going to come in for a lethal strike. You're going to attempt to hit hard enough to bring her down. This is natural to you. You are trained in melee weapons, and your melee strike is a +7. You're going to take a -2 penalty for just trying to swing lethally with a non-lethal weapon.
19 on the die, so...
Oh, well, you're not going to need these 2 hero points that TNT DMB just gave you then.
Whoa, dude.
You can have them for later.
Thank you.
Oh my
They're cool for
God.
later.
Thank you, TNT. So a total of a 24.
4 is absolutely going to hit.
It's D4?
D4 plus 4, right? You're
8 total.
the man's breaking the tray.
Oh my gosh.
The tray comes
We
in
have-
from one side, the fist comes in from the other.
We've shoved the scalpel in her. We've shoved the shard of glass in her. We've hit her with the tray. He just punches her. He's a big lad. That's gonna bring us around to Shelly in the cage here. You still have the keys because you didn't. You kind of opened the door and threw it open. The keys are still in your hands.
It's like as a reaction glare at this guy over here.
I'm scared.
I'm gonna use an action to re-unlock the door, but I'm going to like just slide out and not actually like swing the door open. So then it's probably 2 actions, right?
Yeah,
Well, that's
and-
3. Is that 3 then? Because I have to unlock the door. And
Unlock it. Open the door. You unlock.
I refuse to be caged.
You do
me a favor.
You do.
Okay, go ahead.
You unlock and open the door.
Yeah.
The nurse is largely blocking the door in front of you. With her twin distractions of the pen and the fist, you are not getting stuck in here again. You immediately, reactively, attempt to twist your body and slip past her. You are going to make an acrobatics check to tumble through. That is something that you are trained in and have a +7.
Do a little cartwheel, Shelly. Do a little trick.
That is a 16 on the die, so 23.
23 will succeed. This will allow you to slip past her. And you put yourself not with your back to the doorway, but up alongside Colby here, a little bit out of her main sight. And as you do this, you get into your groove here. Instinct starts to kick in hard as you slip past, and even not really knowing this man, shoulder to shoulder, flipping around to the blind side of this nurse, you know exactly what you're doing. You are feeling yourself here. Look at ability 2 in your deck.
Nice. I have panache.
You have
What does that mean? That's such a good word.
Panache is going to give you a couple of benefits, but that is an effect that is going to remain until combat ends or something happens to end it. As you slip through, this woman has taken all of these hits. She takes the pan, she takes the fist, reacts much more to those, and whips around, her face now fully this horrible alien creature, all traces of humanity gone from her eyes. She looks at the 2 of you who have hit her. She turns around to you, pan still in your hand, and just shoots out with a hand towards your throat.
I'm gonna try and block her with the pan.
Grab a hold of you. All right, fair enough. This is going to be against your Fortitude DC, which you are an expert in and have +8, making your Fortitude DC 18.
Oh my god.
What a hero. What a man. Or hobgoblin.
That's quite a bit of numbers.
What an ugly man.
She is going to get an 18. I am baned. So with
Oh,
that,
Yes.
It went to the
It's on the
front.
side of the
Yeah.
with,
It's under
You
the
rolled away.
with that -1, you deflect her. You hit that to the side, and she looks almost bewildered for a moment. Looks at the 2 of you and kind of looks over towards the refuse pile behind her, seeming to realize how outnumbered she is here. She is going to cautiously take a step back, putting her up next to Shelly as she just lashes out with a claw towards Colby, just reactively, defensively. Colby, your armor class, unarmored as you are, is 15. You are trained in unarmored defense. And you are also baned.
Oh, man.
That's not going to affect me rolling against you, but
I'm glad I'm
we
there.
are.
I'll take it.
She's going to get an 18 with her multiple attack penalty to swing at you. And even just this passing swipe with these long claws she has rips through you. She has a truly impressive amount of power behind her. You are going to take 15 points of slashing damage.
Oh my gosh.
And that didn't sound like a crit.
It's not a crit. That is a regular.
Oh, I'm great. I'm healthy. I'm fine.
Why can't you just listen? I'm trying to save all of you.
You're doing a great job.
Kevin, that cantrip you cast. Cantrips can be used an unlimited number of times. That is not something.
It wasn't just a magic scalpel.
I mean, you need another. You need a thing to throw, but the telekinetic projectile is infinitely reusable.
Okay. Then just to be clear, is the pile of bodies to the right?
It's down the hallway where she's backing up to.
Oh, okay. We haven't seen what's.
You haven't seen what's to the left. It looks like there's a wall. I mean, you can't see. That's where the darkness is for you, human
So
boy.
Kevin can't even see the dead bodies.
Oh yeah.
Kevin can't see the dead bodies. They're in the darkness. Yeah, you can't see the dead bodies. They're around the corner in the darkness.
Okay.
Much better
Oh man.
place.
You're having a better time than everyone else, realistically. You can't see the corpse heap.
Is the person on the table like awake still, or has he passed out? Or?
He
Oh gosh.
Well, there's
he
more
looks like
pressing matters.
he's still attached to the table. He looks like he's breathing, but he is just down. He's not moving much.
Okay, he's not help in this fight. Is there more stuff to throw around the floor? Do I see any sharp
The floor
glass?
is full of like bits of broken stone and timbers that have come free
Dirk
from the
picked up a
ceiling.
tray, so everything on the tray.
Yeah, all the
fell
rest of
ground.
the implements that were on the little stand that she had is there. The little stand she had that tray on is not particularly large. It's like a little end table.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna find another sharp thing and just throw it.
Come on. Focus. Try to repeat the same thing that you just did. This time, with a little more surety. Cast telekinetic projectile. Give me a spell attack roll.
Let's go.
Will be your blessed again.
Oh, 9 plus. You said it was 7, so 16.
16. As you shoot through it, she's kind of on the defensive now. She sees that come up and she sees it shoot and she ducks and it shoots over her shoulder, grazing across there. 16 is going to miss.
Okay, and then I'm
One action left because most spells take 2 actions.
Yeah, it has the 2. And I'm gonna run out and try and just get near the guy on the table and see if there's any
Okay.
bindings or anything.
As you rush over to him, we come around to Sully.
All right. I would like to take the. How big is the table in front of me?
About little smaller than you.
Okay, no, that's good. That's what I wanted to hear. I'd like to kind of knock it on its side and create like a little trench for myself behind it.
Start throwing ninja stars from there.
As I kind of go like, and then I jump up and I throw another the dentist tool.
So you go to knock this table over. You throw it on the ground. You provide yourself a little bit of cover. You can use an action to take cover,
Okay.
which will actually like kind of get down and let it protect you a little bit. But down there, fear starts to kick in.
Oh no.
You want to get up and throw something, but you just saw what she did to someone much larger than you and you were very much afraid. Instead, instinctively, your eyes widen, your pupils dilate, and you feel energy channel through you. You divert that energy into Colby. Look at your focus spell 2.
Focus 2. Focus 2. Stoke the heart. What does that do?
I feel stoked.
Oh, dang. You got +2 to damage rolls, bro.
You immediately feel vigor flow through you further as she starts to retreat and you start to gain a little control of this horrible situation. You're not sure exactly where it's coming from, but you feel it coursing through you.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I do magic,
At the
guys.
focus cantrip, that is also something that you can cast an indefinite number of times.
Can I cast on multiple people?
Well, that was your last action, but also no.
Okay.
Go ahead and look at your ability 1. It'll explain a little bit of the limitations
Get
of
2
that spell.
cards.
That is your focus hex. And that'll tell you a little bit about how hexes work. Long story short, you can only cast 1 a turn. Derp.
Still got the tray. And it
Yep.
is the thing trying to back up into the hallway or
She
just
looks
kind of
like she's trying to scoot back into the hallway. She clearly is retreating at this point. She seems afraid.
I'm going to try and grab a hold of her.
All right.
Can't have that.
Your athletics. This may shock you to learn you are trained.
Wow.
I know. And you have a +7.
Oh, and Wilson at our table.
Wow.
My strength guy is good at strength things? No way.
Alrighty, so reaching out, giving her a grab with hobgoblin claw fingies. 22.
It's gonna grab her.
Yeah.
Taking a hand off the tray, you lay one on her.
Not gonna get away
Solidly.
that easy. Get back in here. And with a hold on her, I'm gonna take the tray and try and jam it at her throat.
All right, wielding it one-handed now, it's going to do a little bit less damage. You're also going to take multiple attack penalty for multiple attacks in one turn of a -5 on your attack roll.
18.
Is that what that's after the -5?
Yeah, I rolled a 14.
Yeah, you hit her. I mean,
Okay, then.
it's D4 -4 now.
So that's gonna be 7 damage.
And blast.
Uh-oh. Boomer.
7 damage. You have 1 action left.
I know shoving is supposed to be one way. Can I pull her back towards us?
Sure.
I know
Make me an
it's,
athletics check at -10.
Yep. Doesn't matter if you roll 20s. That's a 15, so 12.
You try to pull her back into the room, but again, you grab on, as you pull harder with what you've got a hold of here, the collar of her nurse's gown, it starts to rip a little bit. And if you put much more force into that, you're just going to lose your grip entirely and she's going to get away. Colby, you come around to you, and immediately you feel this pain. Fear does not fill you, rage does. You let out an absolutely bestial roar as an intimidate check. You are trained in intimidate. That's going to be a +4.
22.
22 is going
Oh
to
my
succeed.
gosh.
A little spooked.
You yell at her. You are much larger than she is. Strength notwithstanding, that is a scary situation. Your other 2 actions are your own.
I step forward, just not so much. There's not a lot of expression in my face, but I do step forward and I just grab her by the head and bring her to my knee. I'm gonna make an unarmed strike against her.
Right. She is very much flat-footed for this.
So, holy
Grabbed and frightened, so she's -3.
19 on the die, plus 24 total.
24. Are you blessed?
I'm blessed.
He is.
With her
We did
grabbed
it.
and frightened, a bless is going to make that critically hit.
Yes.
Stacking debilitations.
Why don't you go ahead and look at your, I can't remember if it says class 1 or just CL1 on your card there.
Last one. Sneak attack.
You're going to deal D4 plus strength mod plus an additional D6 of all bludgeoning damage from this mighty knee, and you're going to double all of it.
The good
Oh
old
my
rogue
God.
crit.
4 plus 4 is 8 plus 3 is 11, 22. Oof.
22 damage, massive knee is going to slam into her, and immediately, Derp, you're gonna feel her body go completely limp, and she drops, and your hand on her gown is the only thing that's keeping her up.
Just letting go.
The moment, you are safe.
Clapping big man on the shoulder. That's the way to do it. Yeah.
I kind of peek over the edge of my bench. Just, did we do it?
Interesting.
Oh,
All right.
she's dead.
Do any of you know where we are?
Somewhere
Cells.
awful.
Maybe this person knows something. I'm gonna try and do the similar thing that he said to us, like the wake up. I'm gonna try and tell him wake up and try to like undo his bindings.
Looking down at him, he's unconscious. He's asleep. He's knocked out. He's passed out from blood loss. You're not immediately clear. You are untrained in medicine and have a +1. Not apparent to you exactly the state that he's in, but he doesn't
I need a
immediately
doctor.
respond. The rest
Not
of you,
that I know of.
I'll walk over to him
I'm
and
bleeding.
sorry, I don't know what you can say to me. Soli, you are trained in medicine
I have a PhD.
and have a +5.
What?
I'll walk over and take a look at him.
I am.
Also untrained. All the rest of you would immediately learn you are untrained in medicine. You don't know what you're looking at. You don't know what to do about your injury because you are still quite clawed.
Bleeding profusely.
I'll walk over and kind of check him out.
Need someone
Roll me
to
a
put you on the
medicine check.
table.
Roll me a d20 and add that 5.
All right, I had the 5. All right, 14 on the die, 19.
Looking down, the man appears to have just passed out from a combination of shock. Shock from a combination of the situation and just actual blood loss. He is barely alive. Without intervention, he's not going to wake up anytime soon. And you're not confident he's going to wake up ever.
This guy may be down for the count. Are there any bandages around? Maybe we could stitch him up a little.
She doesn't seem to be completely convinced that anyone would ever need them.
Yeah.
But the only thing that even looked half clean was the outfit she was wearing, right?
It's about the same state as the garb that you all are wearing. It's dirty, but it's not like completely grunge.
We just stop the bleeding somehow.
Yeah.
I'll have
Yeah.
a moment here, finally, to look around the chamber a bit to take in your situation. This small hall, this little hallway, 4 of you can see now a little better what horror lies at the far end of it, and the room seeming to end, turning around a corner the other direction to the west. Where that goes into the darkness is unknown. But in this moment, panic's starting to subside a little bit. Each of you are going to recover 1 stress for that victory. Bringing all of you down collectively to 5. You have had a little sample of what stress can do. You're not always going to get the full say of what happens when you're panicking.
Okay.
But you also, while you don't recognize each other, do feel a little bit of familiarity. That inkling in the back of your head. I've seen that face before. Bits of errant memories clawing at your mind. Wisps of things that may have happened. All of you flip over the cards I put down to show you where to sit. On the back side of them, you are going to see 1 piece of information about the people to either side of you that you remember. That starts to come back to you. You don't need to share that right now. You don't need to share it ever. But that is something that you know about their character that at the moment, not even they do.
At this point, I'm gonna just take off my small ball up and just press it up against my gaping chest wound.
You can make me a medicine check just to, I mean, you're untrained in medicine, your medicine is +0. The best you can do is staunch the bleeding.
That's all.
I guess it's, yeah, but treat wounds is
I think
trained action.
I think it's trained, yeah.
So you actually can't do that
I can't
right
do it.
now.
It's just me just standing there watching them.
Without access to some kind of like tools, even someone who was proficient, there's not much more they can do.
Oh, you
without
got
something
plenty of
proficient.
rusty tools right here. Let's just go on ahead and, I'm sure it'll be fine.
What is like the longest, pointiest object currently in our
Probably the
vicinity?
little like homemade knife that she was cutting on this guy.
I'm gonna pick that up and tuck it into my smock. Into pockets.
I'm pretty happy with the tray that I've got.
Colby, put your bless back. Kevin, as you're thinking here, you're not trained in medicine. You're not really sure what to do with this guy or with Colby. But with this spell casting that you had thrown out, with this magic that had connected to you, something else does come together as you see him trying to staunch these wounds. It triggers your cantrip 2. Dunk.
How thick is this tray?
It's probably like a 1/4 inch metal plate. Is this?
Okay, it's
It's hefty.
Okay.
Yeah, it's you will. I'm saying it is 2-hand d6, and it does bludgeoning damage. Is what you've got.
I was thinking about like rolling it up if it was a smaller
try
tray,
roll
but
up a bowl.
it's not now.
It is
This
a
like
big
I could
old
cook
pan.
on this.
Big pan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cast iron tray.
This guy, how's this guy tied to the table? Sorry.
Um,
Chains, ropes, what?
It's like leather straps. It looks like they are actual leather bonds. That isn't really jerry-rigged. It looks like they are purposely made restraints. Like they have proper cuffs for his wrists and his ankles. These are here and are made for this purpose, not maybe to be attached to this table, but they're clearly
Restraints.
well-crafted restraints. So Kevin,
Yeah, I start molding some like clay and dirt. I'm like, we have to stop his bleeding somehow, and I start like making a plaster, a healing plaster, out of just like dirt and clay I find on the floor, and I try to seal his wounds.
as you just pour a little bit of your magic into that, what exactly does that spell do?
Yeah, healing plaster. You purify some dirt or mud into a pliable clay-like plaster that can aid in clotting and healing. Can use this in lieu of healer's tools for medicine checks.
So you know you can make it. That's the trigger that comes. But Soli is the only one that you think can really use it effectively.
Yeah, I hand it to you. It's like, I would say scalpel, but they're all rusty.
That's a good one. Okay. Thank you.
Take the wad of the smock down. Just go for it.
That one's for you, bud. There you go.
Make me a medicine check, Soli. You can do this out of combat to attempt to treat an ally. You can heal directly while he provided the tools with magic. If you had tools completely non-magically in 2nd edition.
Oh, okay.
I take a B so she can reach.
It's a 14 on the die.
Okay.
So 8. No.
It's the DC.
It's 19.
It's a flat DC 15 to succeed. Doesn't matter who you're trying to treat or whatever. So your treatment is going to heal 2d8 hit points back for Colby.
Want to roll it?
Now, this does represent your best efforts to treat him, so you can't just like do it again. You have done what you can. You can check back up on this in about an hour to see if there's anything more that you can do, but this is all that you can do, and this is a process that is going to take you some time. You're going to be sitting here tending to him for a while.
Okay. All right. Well. Oh, yeah, dude. 8 and a 7. 15.
That's exactly how much I took.
Come on, dude.
You guys are blessed there. So while
That's awesome.
you three are working on this, we have Shelly and Derp. What are you two doing here?
I'm gonna cut the restraints off the table. Like, this guy might not be getting up, but just in case he does, it would be awful for him to wake up still stuck to a table.
That's fair. With that tool, it's a little bit of work. They're fairly, again, heavy leather purpose-made restraints, but you are able to cut through them, given an amount of time. Well, Derp, what are you doing here?
With the bodies down the hall or in the open area towards the
They're
other side?
down a small hall near where the nurse was retreating.
Then I will peek in the other direction and just get a bearing of the surroundings, scout the area, like the immediate area, not entering any rooms or anything.
Right. I'm not going over there. I'm just looking, just to clarify, not going over
What if I
there.
find a door? I'm not going in that door. I'm just going to make note that there is a door there.
Just take an inventory.
You can see it looks like there is a space. You had the 2 cells, the 2 of you were kept in against another wall. Isn't it? There's an identical space for a 3rd cell that just does not have bars and gating in front of it. In fact, that area seems to hold a large set of drawers, cabinet. And then around the corner, just a little bit down on the western wall, it looks like the wall has almost completely collapsed. The ceiling sags down and you're a 45-degree angle. Stone and scree scattered all across the hall. The area seems to loop back around immediately to just the opposite side of a wall, maybe 3 feet thick, on the southern end of this room, which leads to a massive metal contraption that looks like a dormant furnace made of thick, heavy iron, large enough to occupy the whole of the southern area, forming a terminus itself. There really is not anywhere to go down there. You look around, you cut the man free. By this time, the 3 of you have finished patching Colby up.
Thank you.
Of course, it's the... At least I could thank you for the...
Put my hand on her head.
Yeah.
Put my hand on your head and just reach my other hand out to shake your hand.
Oh.
Thank you.
As you put your hand on top of Sully's head, you immediately feel a set of tiny little claws stick down on the side of your hand.
It appears you have a bug in your hair.
Oh my gosh.
You reach up to smack where it is, and your hand hits an object as big as your hand. You don't see anything, but your hand wraps around this. It feels rough and scaly, maybe about the size of a banana.
What?
And as you grab it, it immediately starts to wiggle.
Was it a happy wiggle?
It's not like fight for its life wiggle, and it's not happy, but it is like a discontent wiggle in your hand. You don't see it because it's on your head, but those of you that are standing around her would immediately see shimmer into existence a vibrant blue chameleon with its little claw in your hand,
fella.
doing this and like twitching its head back and forth
Correct myself. It's a reptile.
as Sully smacks at it. You want to look at your ability too?
Oh my god.
You got a little fella.
I got a little fella. Oh my
Excited.
gosh. He's so cute.
This is what we're here for. Her excitement.
Realize what this is and let go. He's slowly, little chameleon hands, scampers down onto your shoulder and just looks up. One eye kind of darting across your face, one eye looking around the rest of the room, and just shoots his little tongue out right into your mouth. Kiss. By your lips.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Now he seems happy.
That was a little weird.
I kind of look over. I'm just like shaking with I'm just giddy with this little thing, and I just kind of rub his little head. Oh my gosh, dude.
Hey, big feller. You see anything interesting over there?
Furnace. That's about it.
Anything we can use as weapons?
Nothing aside from what's here on the, well, what was on the table.
Furnace door might work for armor.
I'm gonna reach down and pry the rusty scalpel out of her chest.
Oh.
That would
Yeah.
functionally be an improvised dagger. I would give you all the traits that a dagger would normally have. D4 piercing damage, it's light, agile, finesse, you can throw it, pierce or slash.
Should we?
I'm gonna.
I have the
turn
card
to-
for it, but I realize now I don't have an effective way to give it to you other than just kind of like
Just throw
throwing it across the room. So I'm gonna have Arcadis bring it to you.
Delivery. Hey, Mr. Colby.
You just got a
Dagger.
You just got a dagger.
Everyone's held it now. Thank you.
It's a special dagger now.
It's Stirp's tray.
What was the other thing?
Whoa, dude. Special delivery.
You just got a hammer.
Wait.
You just got a hammer.
Yeah, we gotta go. Everyone has to touch all the things.
It's important.
Yeah.
It's a part of our bonding ritual.
Yeah.
We've been through
yes,
some horrible things already, and it's literally session 1, so we need a little bonding ritual.
We should go get the door off that furnace. I don't know why I know this, but you big guy can do well in armor.
At least we can see if it can be taken off.
Meantime, should we do the same thing that we did to big guy here to the one on the table?
Oh, yeah, we could do that. We just scrub in. We can,
Yeah, I got the door ready.
Mud. Thank you.
Another medicine check.
All right, I would love to.
We'll go over and try to pry the furnace door off.
You also have a point.
I do have a point. I'm going to use that. I rolled a 4.
There you
no,
go.
it's the other way. That's the one that you spent.
I will
This one
tell you,
spent.
this: if you critically fail to treat someone, you do injure them further. And this man's condition is dire enough that should you critically fail, he will die.
Good thing you got that point.
I'm pretty sure he's going to die whether I do something or not. So, I don't really think that
You got the
one's on
maybe
me.
die or the definitely die?
Yeah,
You know, we'll give it a
we'll
shot.
take it. We'll take it's the best odds we got.
You tried your best, and we'll give it to you.
Close to
I
the
thought
other
it was a 1. It's a
Points
7.
for-
Oh, on the die. 7 on the die. So
12
plus-
total.
Yeah.
Despite your best efforts,
No,
this
I got
man's
mud though.
injuries are a lot more severe. You were gouged deeply, but it was by a single decisive strike. You kind of mat the bleeding, help that coagulate, and the worst is past. This man looks like he's been tortured for some time. It's gonna take a little more to break
fingers
it
it in.
back.
Oh yeah.
But I'm better.
Anyway, meanwhile, you said you two are going around to the furnace. Heading around this southern area here, you can see the door is a metal grill. The furnace is very well maintained, it appears. It's quite intact. The steel of this front grill is very well connected by heavy bolts to the metal face of this enormous thing. It is a huge industrial furnace, clearly meant to heat a massive building or complex. This could heat all of a castle.
Whoa.
This is not a fireplace to heat one home.
So the door is not removed.
You
Like, is
can
it on?
try.
Is it currently giving off heat?
No, it is currently cold.
Okay.
How big is the furnace door?
The furnace door is probably about maybe 2.5, 3 feet across. It has several different ports, and one primary loading bay. The primary loading bay only has like a simple grill. There are a couple of these other ports with almost like metal sewer caps across the top of them. So there's a few options.
I feel like if we all put our weight behind one of these, we might be able to do something.
Might make a good shield if we can rig it up to hold. Yeah, I'm gonna just. You know what? I'm gonna brute strength. I'm gonna brute strength myself through this one.
The two of you can definitely both pull on it. You can assist an ally trying to complete a skill check. This is going to be athletics for the both of you. And the both of you are... Oh, no, you're not actually both trained. Shelly, you are untrained in athletics
Okay.
and have a +2. So you can still try. It's going to be, difficult, but you can give it your best. Colby, you are trained in athletics and have a +7.
Dang.
So roll your assist first. It's a fixed DC of 20, which is high, but you don't make it worse unless you roll very low.
So 15 on the die, and then I add the 2 to that? No. Yes?
So yeah, exactly. So but 17
Okay.
is not going to be 20. So like you're helping, but
Okay.
while you are not
Moral support. I'm moral
weak,
support.
yeah, you're not
You're
really.
the kid helping the dad repair the car.
So you're doing. All right, Dad. Let's see.
Thank you, Team
Hero
D&D.
point.
Always. I've learned from the master here.
Can't get them if you don't use them.
For a total of a 13.
13 pulling on this, it's pretty well affixed. It seems like you may need to come back with some tools if you wanted to get any of the pieces of this off to be able to use to protect yourselves. But it's worth noting that while only one person's armor class came up in that fight, everybody, of course, has an AC, and all of you are currently unarmored. That's rough for some of you. So this is not a bad thought to take here.
I mean, it's rough for me all the time. No matter what, I'm going to get hit. So
So I think we're like going to make our way back over to the...
Give me a couple of efforts. You
table.
come back around as Sully and Kevin are realizing there isn't much that they can do.
Yeah, I don't know.
what about that body pile over there? Is there anything useful in it, or is it just naked corpses?
I can't see very far. I don't know.
Don't think about it too hard.
Are they torches
Never
or lights?
mind.
I don't
Lanterns.
Okay.
Acrylic lanterns set into the walls.
We could go. I mean,
They're
dig
all
around
looking
in
down
there.
this hallway here into complete darkness. You can barely see it at the edge of the light. You three can see it perfectly fine.
You want to?
I'm gonna grab a lantern and just kind of walk over to the clearly human hold it out. You might want this.
All right. I can always throw it if I get.
Do you want to help me go rifle through some corpses? It sounds gross on my tongue, but there might be something useful in there. It doesn't seem like the nurse was one to strip all the bearings. At least like a new shirt.
I mean,
Yeah, before I do,
dust pretty
and I'm
bare.
gonna take off my smock and wrap it around my head because I can smell them from here.
My smock has just been discarded on the floor, covered in blood at this point. I'm walking around shirtless.
So you all walking into this adjoining room. You can see there is a door at the end of this short adjoining hallway, but it's of course hanging wide open, showing the room beyond. Kevin seeing this for the first time with the light and Sully really getting the first good look at it, but all of you not realizing the magnitude of what this is. There are,
We saw a small pile.
you saw the side, you saw the edge. There are dozens of bodies heaped up here in this eastern room. The room features a broad chute, like a laundry drop, set up into the eastern wall of quite a few feet up near the ceiling. It's, well, clearly large enough to fit a body down, as it looks like this pile has just simply been discarded down through whatever the other end of this chute is. There looks like there was once a stairwell in the southern corner and once a passageway on the northern end, but both have utterly and fully collapsed, choked with rubble and stone. Another small area, like a miniaturized versions of your prior cells, sits in the eastern wall to your left as you enter, with a couple of chains seemingly recently hammered in with climbing pythons to the stone behind them, or these leather manacles at their ends, currently restraining no one. The smell of rot and decay is overwhelming. Everybody make me a stress check. Stress checks will always be flat d20s. You will add nothing to them. It is what it is.
I'm spending my other hero point because I rolled a 5.
You will not know the DC.
You know what? You're right. Thank you, TNT D&D.
They will vary.
To a 6.
Shelly,
8.
Colby,
11.
Herb,
6.
Sully.
12.
13.
This is no worse than anything that you have just been through. While it is disgusting, it pales in comparison to a near-death experience and whatever horrible, lifelike nightmare you'd experienced before. None of you increase in stress.
Did the 5 make a difference?
It's DC 5 was what I was thinking.
Hey.
Just barely.
The bodies all look like they have been murdered. They look like they have fallen victim to
They haven't been
sharp
alive.
claws or slashing blades, slit throats, rendered faces, limbs and torsos in ribbons. Some worse than others, but all stained deep in this pile of blood and gore. Some have been dropped down naked with outfits and gear and refuse behind them. And around this pile spills out just odds and ends and accoutrements, single lone shoes, wooden trays, and bits and pieces of things. More fallen stone that seems to have been discarded from above, wherever the chute may connect. But there are a great number of them. On the northern side of the pile, a few of the corpses have been pulled out and lined up. You can see that they had been played with, very similarly to the victim in the hallway behind you. The cuts on their bodies fresher, oozing very little blood, clearly done post-mortem. There are an assortment of outfits here. Many simple smocks and patient gowns, very similar to what you have. Doctors' jackets, nurses' outfits. Clearly a wide assortment of standard medical gear. A couple of very simple medical tools even sit among the pile, as well as some other possibly more useful things. You immediately see a couple of very short, stout clubs. Not so much clubs, but almost little nightsticks, as well as what look to be a few perhaps orderlies that are wearing thicker, padded, reinforced suits. Anything more than that, you would need to dig through the pile.
Pull out the orderlies, start stripping them down.
As much as I don't like discarding these off the dead, we will need them.
They're not using them anyways.
I've only got one of these cards, but there are up to 3 of these thick orderly sets that would functionally be padded armor. It's very light, but it isn't nothing.
I'm taking one,
Probably one for all 3 of us.
ripping off the sleeves, putting them on. Your size for a normal human.
All 3 of you putting these on, it would give you a +1 bonus to your armor class. Any of you would be trained in it. However, Shelly, it's almost more restrictive than it is helpful. This padded armor is heavy. It slows you down a little. It has a dexterity cap of +3. You would not feel any more protected or any more safe with this on than you would without it.
I'm gonna pass it to the little one then.
Flattened
Just gonna sort of like just toss it to you across the way.
Sully,
I'm gonna pick up one of
similarly,
the,
is
one of
very small. All
Yeah.
3 of these sets are human size.
Yeah.
It would weigh you down and dwarf you. And beyond that, you are untrained in light armor. You are untrained in all armor.
Forget about it.
It's my side.
I kind of like, as like the the padded armor, I'd imagine like almost rests like tubular around, like standing up on its own. I kind of like scramble out, be like,
Pretty big set.
it's all yours. I don't think that's gonna work for
Kevin,
me.
you could put it on. You are trained in light armor.
Okay, this fits
and it
great.
would increase your armor class by 1.
2. Just add plus
higher.
2 plus 1.
You would be able to put the item bonus in your little armor class calculation would become 1. Knowing you're trained in light armor, you would know that it's 17 now because it comes from your dex, your proficiency, and your armor. So all of you, I guess, by learning whether or not you were trained, would learn of your armor classes because that's all the information that you need.
Said I am trained. It's just that it was.
You are trained, it's just not
Okay,
helpful for
yeah.
you, right? So Kevin, your armor class is 16. You're trained in light armor. Sully, your armor class is 14, and you are untrained in armor.
Oh man. Stick me in the back, boys.
Derp, you're trained in at least light armor. Your armor class would be 13, 14 with the padded armor on. Colby, you as well are trained. Would go from 14 to 15 with the padded armor on. And Shelly, you are trained in light armor as well. Your armor class is 17 either way.
I'm also gonna grab the nightsticks. Just put one to my side.
3 of them, right?
There are 3 of the sets of the orderly padded armor, and there are 2 of these little nightsticks.
Who wants
These
the
are
other one?
actual, like these are not improvised. These will not have a chance to break when you use them. This tray, even this little handmade knife, the scalpel, all these things are not weapons. And it is very possible that via use, something is they're going to break, they're going to snap, they're going to bend, they're going to blunt. Every time you attack with them, there's a chance that you will lose them. So those saps are the first thing you have found that will stand up to the rigors of what you put them through.
I just like put my hand out as you like pick one of them up.
There you go.
For what it's worth, you should use 2. Just trust me.
Not sure what memory he's pulling from, but clearly there's something there.
He's seeing something I'm not. Well,
Perfectly content with the tray.
as long as they're content, I guess. The only way out of this place seems to be up the chute. Or do we want to dig through the corpses for more stuff?
I'm gonna see if I can get lucky. I am not digging through this pile forever, but I'm willing to hit one just Hail Mary and see if I can find something on the first flip. But then beyond that, it's too much. So,
Okay.
what do I have to roll for luck?
Show me a flat check, not for the stress, just to see if you get lucky. I'm going to call this your luck d20.
Yeah.
Lucky
That's kind of what I was
20.
thinking. A 13?
Lucky number.
13. Flipping one guy over and revealing a little bit more of the pile.
It's a gotcha pile.
There is a satchel on the side of the orderly that you roll over, like a fanny pack on the back of his belt that does jiggle a little. There's something in there, but it doesn't immediately reveal any more useful weapons, armor.
I mean, I'll go through the little thing.
This little bag has got a few errant coins in it, silver and 3 coppers.
Take 'em.
There is a small little wadded up ball of metal foil and a couple of tissues.
Does a tissue count as a medical supply?
As we're,
Bring it over.
as we're digging through the. As
Only for
we're-
emotional
You didn't
damage.
answer? Okay.
as I'm digging, rifling through the corpse, I'm just gonna start making small talk with everyone. Like,
You digging?
yeah, I'm
we're
digging, but hey, so it's probably fair to go ahead and establish. Do any of you guys remember anything, or am I the only one who has no earthly idea how I got here?
The only things I remember is you like 2 weapons and you're from a cult.
What? Sorry, what? What?
And bedside manner is 0.
Oh my god.
all I got for you.
Whoa, dude. Are you serious? Oh, okay.
And as he says that, your little chameleon starts doing this, kind of trying to get your attention.
Yeah, sorry, yes. Yes. What do you want from me?
Starts trying to grab your fingers,
Okay, I'll give them to him. I'm like, okay.
and he puts his little hands on your 2 fingers, and you immediately lose sight of the room as you feel a massive rush of magic flow through you. You can look at your whole spell deck.
Oh,
Whoa, dude. Oh my. So all of these, all of these.
All of those.
oh,
Hold on, guys. I gotta do some reading.
As he touches,
just like face.
as he
Oh my
touches
gosh.
you, and this knowledge just ignites in your mind. These spells that you have cast, this power you have access to, the ability to fling magical, debilitating rays to enfeeble people, to incite fear, to muddy minds, a freezing touch. You have great amount of abilities
Oh my gosh.
suddenly been revealed.
Oh my gosh.
You, the rest of you,
There.
as the little chameleon grabs her fingers, see her eyes roll back in her head, and her head even goes like a little limp.
Don't.
I see the cult
I don't
thing.
think we need to be.
I see the.
I just
That's a lot.
Oh, oh
Not
my
even-
gosh.
I take a glance, see that happening, and go, okay, and just keep doing my thing. Like, there's nothing I can do about that.
So, of all of the first level spells there, those are all of the spells that you know, that you understand, that has been imparted to you by this chameleon. You only have 2 of them prepped and ready, and that is Fear
Okay.
and Ray of Enfeeblement.
Got him.
You have all of the cantrips.
Okay. Hold on. Everybody chill out.
Spellcasters.
We're gonna read some of these
the
later.
One that may be
that's still
of
alive.
2 that may be of immediate interest to you of your cantrip pile are Light, which
Yes.
will allow you to basically touch something and leave a glowing print with about as much strength as a torch or a lantern. That's a cantrip, as well as Read Aura, which allows you to focus on an item and determine if it is magical, and if so, a little about its nature.
These are nice. At the top of this little pile they go. Oh my gosh.
This is the hard part of getting a character spontaneously foisted upon you. Here are your 17 spells, madame. Please enjoy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you kind of see as she just kind of like whips out of it. She's like, ah, dude, I'm like super magic. That's awesome.
You move stuff with your mind?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it a
Are you threatened?
No, I'm wondering if that's just me, or can everyone else move stuff with their mind? I want to see if we have like more in common.
Right.
Oh, if I think about moving something and then move my hands and it moves, I've moved it with my mind.
I
Okay.
don't think.
Can you move stuff with your mind?
I think that's what happened. I had a scalpel and I tried to stab and it went. Phew.
Yeah, right. Nah, dude, I don't believe you. You've lied to me before.
As you're digging through
I've
this
lied to you.
pile, Colby, I do need you to make me a stress check.
Stress check.
I'm also digging through the pile.
Both of you make me stress checks.
Got a 17.
You are okay. Your stress does not increase.
Got a 19.
You're also okay. The two of you are
I feel like we've done this before.
hardy and doing what you need to do. It's unsettling, but it doesn't really bother you. Like perhaps it should. Perhaps this is complete lack of context. You don't know who these people are. You don't even know where you are.
Part of the reason I'm
There's
making small
way
talk.
too much to be worried about right now.
That's why I'm trying to like put our heads together and think. It keeps my mind from moving dead bodies.
Rustling through this all, you find a couple of pieces of equipment that may be useful. Not all of it is hospital gear. Some of these bodies in this pile are clearly visitors, or people that have come through, or people that were just temporarily wherever it is that we are. None of them have massively valuable weapons. There are no long swords. There are
Tell
no
me there's not a
rapiers.
great axe in here.
There are no crossbows in this pile. But what you do find is a halfling inside. Pick up a leg.
Hello.
A halfling
the
that
pause was perfect.
inside her backpack, among some of the other bits of odds and ends she took for her travels, there is bundled up a sling and a half dozen small rounded bullets for it. That is a simple weapon that anybody could use. You find a bit of a stouter sap. A man wears two tools slung across his back, a thick metal banded wooden club and what looks to be like a lumberjacking woodcutting hand hatchet. Both of these could also be useful, but using the hatchet effectively would be a little difficult for those of you with no familiarity of proper weapons.
I'm gonna take the halfling's backpack too.
Backpack's never a bad thing.
Yeah, having a bag's never a bad thing.
These are good.
So,
A couple of these people also have heavier traveling gear. A pair of them even veritable armor that might be useful. One drawn about in fairly simple hide cladding, medium armor, and one with a finely made light chain shirt under their jerkin. It's not going to be enough armor or weapons for even the people that want them, or much less all of you, but it's a start.
Let's see.
well, for what
Now
it's
keep
worth.
in mind, any of these weapons are not going to have the chance to break in combat like improvised weapons would. So even weapons like this little hatchet that don't do a lot of damage or have a lot of useful traits, they're reliable. That in itself, a weapon breaking on you at a critical time could lead to a very, very bad situation.
For what it's worth, I saw what you did with the scalpel, and I'm gonna hand half the bullets over to the human.
After 3, there are only 6. A half dozen sling bullets. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Just means he doesn't have to go scrambling for stuff. He has a few reliable shots.
Yeah, since apparently this guy can move things with his mind or whatever.
I'm just gonna like sling one bullet just like straight at the wall and bounce.
Oh my gosh, you're serious?
Wait, when did I lie?
I don't know. I just kind of remember. I don't know what it was about, but you did.
Okay.
There are several other items of interest that the few of you unearthed from the pile that are not as immediately useful for keeping you alive. There are several small, what look like lapel pins, amulets, and bracelets engraved with holy symbols. You may not remember much of who you are, what got you here, but you still have a base level understanding of the world. You can all talk, of course, and you would recognize symbols of prominent gods, Desna, or Saren Ray?
I grab one. It's of a songbird with a tail looped around in a myriad of colors. I think I'll keep this one.
You would also
at least.
find a trio. Most of these they're simple. They are like wooden jewelry or brass. They're not made of precious metal. You would find a trio, very finely made, silver amulets carved into the spiraling symbol of Pharasma, the goddess of death and fate, mother of graves. The 3 amulets would be identical, each of them attached to a finely made thin black cord to be worn around the neck. 2 of them are loose in the pile. 1 is around the bearer of the chain shirt, a man who looks to be in a step up of finery. It's not extravagant, it's not fashion, but his clothing, his armor, his chain shirt, it's all well made. It's clearly had a bit more of an investment than most everything else that you were finding in this pile.
I pick up one of the necklaces and I kind of like toss it back and forth in my hand. And I look over to Dirt and I say, What kind of cult? Like this kind of cult?
I don't know the specifics of it.
And as you're
I
looking
wouldn't say
at
that's
that,
a cult.
Sully, you don't just recognize the symbol of Pharasma. You know a pretty good amount about this, about the symbol of Shaylin that Colby had picked up a moment ago. You are trained in religion
Oh.
and have a +5.
Oh, wow.
You are quite familiar with the tenets of many of these gods and many more, and feel like this is something that you certainly have studied.
Huh.
I'm gonna take the chain shirt. Offers more protection than a padded shirt.
And I'll wear the hide.
You are trained as well in medium armor, so I think that will increase your armor class by what, 2?
Yep, 16.
The last thing that you find is perhaps the oddest, at least most out of place item of all. Underneath another one of these bodies in this pile, there is a wooden, carved, and polished viola, little string instrument. Its strings are even still intact, which is kind of impressive just for the situation that it's in. The viola, other than being very terribly misplaced here, doesn't immediately have any distinguishing features until you turn it over and see initials carved into the back of it. Not rough, not scrimshaw, but clearly with as much care as the crafting of the instrument itself. E-Z.
Nice.
Funny, I know, but E-Z. Kevin, as dirt pulls out of the pile, that kind of catches your eye a little bit.
It's just too easy.
What you got there?
Wouldn't know.
Can I look at it?
Sure. Hand it off to him.
It lacks a bow, so not playable in its current state, but it otherwise seems to be intact. And as you take a hold of it, almost immediately you feel the desire to check if it's in tune. Something that you clearly know how to do and are very familiar with, regardless of whether or not you do actually start doing that.
Okay.
Oh.
Wait.
I think I can play this.
No,
Might help raise our
you
morale.
can't. You could play a viola?
Can you like fiddle it? Like pluck it? Like I know it doesn't have
There's no
bow.
strings, right? Though? No,
There's strings, there's no bow.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
bow, but you still like
Yeah, I'll try plucking
plucking
it.
it? I don't know.
With the fire and flames.
As he does, he starts to pluck a little at this, kind of cautiously, tenderly. First, these simple notes emanate out from this viola, the instrument seemingly in perfect condition. But he starts to get into the swing of it very quickly. Notes start to flow together, and even given the lack of half of the primary instrument and the method of play, you're able to string together melodies that are impressive, and beyond that, inspiring. This does not feel like simple music. Something more is happening here as he plays. Automatically, without him even realizing he's doing it. Look at your focus spell too.
Nice.
Thanks.
I think another very important order of business here, since we're all thrown together. I don't like using you there or hey you. We should probably think of some way to refer to each other if we don't even remember our own names.
You can call me Easy.
Easy, sure.
Brows, big guy, pinky, curly. I don't know.
I'll just call you.
Brows,
Yeah,
big guy,
easy.
pinky, curly, and easy.
I mean,
Oh, we've heard a big guy. There's two big guys here.
well, yeah, but
Easy,
you,
pink, gray, green, yellow.
all right.
You don't
Can
get
I
to be a
request
color.
you not call each other colors that are not your bite colors? I'm gonna get so confused. Can I GM veto that one out of character for no reason other than my
What
own
is-
actual sanity?
Eevee, Chameleon, what, a tray,
Trey.
That's a good one.
keys.
Because despite having a hatchet on my belt, I'm still
Call me
holding the tray.
mostly dead, I guess.
All right, mostly dead. You sure?
Or whatever you
feel
want
like
to call
that's
me.
a curse on your name. I can't call you mostly dead. It feels like I am asking for that future.
Yeah, well, apparently we're almost there. Was that
MD.
MD?
MD.
MD.
Right. That works.
I'm not a trained medical professional.
You're
You're mostly
MD.
dead.
Writing these down. You're MD. What did you say for Shelly? I was
Keys.
furiously writing keys. That's what it was. I'll change your nameplates for next week.
The first
But-
thing I can think of when I see each of you.
You feel, you really do feel this this bolstering courage flow through you as he just continues to play this music as he talks seemingly effortlessly, not interfering with him at all. What do you got, buddy?
I got inspired courage.
Ooh.
Y'all feel a little bit inspired.
It helps steady all of you a little bit. It's almost a base against the absolute horrors of everything that you have been presented with over the what for you has been last 20 30 minutes. Somehow in Easy's music things start to feel a little better, a little hopeful.
All right then.
You're pretty good at that.
Thanks. Yeah.
Where'd you learn to do that?
I don't know. I just figured it. Just felt right.
You're good. Very good.
So, you know that I'm in a cult. Cool, I guess.
That's all I got for you.
Yeah.
I don't remember a lot, but I know that you lied to me about something. And I know that were you a soldier or something like that?
You say I was, I suppose. I don't remember.
Thinking
anything.
about it, you're trying to remember specific memories, and little comes out. But once you start to widen your scope, your breadth there, and think a little bit more simple terms, you are trained in lore warfare. You do have a +5. Whether that's from experience or study, I really can't recall.
So like, I don't know if it's just because I'm kind of blind, but like you blend into the shadows really well. I don't know if you can like step into the dark. I don't know. It's just you all can see better, but I feel like you're.
Okay.
It is a little kind of obvious to everyone. Whenever Keys has gotten a little far, I gotta remember new names now. Whenever Keys has gotten a little far from these lights, well, I guess here, just the lantern that Easy is holding. Even with your dark vision, you two, it's kind of hard to see her. For you, she almost disappears entirely. Look at your ancestry feat.
Ooh. So yes, it's not just me, right? Like,
No,
it's
I
like
can see it.
It's
I can see
totally
it.
not just
Okay.
you.
Ancestry. Ancestry feat.
Ancestry feat.
Ooh, I have shadow blending.
You are
Oh.
extremely difficult to pin down in darkness. To the point where it's can be near impossible to keep track of exactly where you are. You just seem to
Oh my god.
fade
like a
out.
chameleon.
Oh, dude.
And a chameleon just
This guy is so charming.
Okay.
Wait, I thought you said he lied to you though.
Well, I
that was
don't
a-
remember what about, but
okay.
Maybe like something
you're
small,
kind-
like the time. I sometimes,
you're just kind of, I don't know, you're just kind of a little bit deceptive.
I guess we
One
can
time.
establish that we all know each other at some point at some time. We just don't remember anything, right?
Or, I mean, that seems fair. We all seem to know something, so
A little. Something.
whether
Did
we
you have a
all
weird
know
dream?
all each other.
Oh, what kind of dream?
Were you like in this town and there was like mist?
Yeah,
Okay.
and like a tower.
Yeah.
And a lot of dying,
Okay.
Definitely done.
Yes.
It's pretty gross.
which apparently we're just surrounded by dying. I'm just knee deep in the
Oh wait,
corpse pile.
you might not remember you might not remember the dying much.
Well, I died. I did. I died.
There's more dying after that.
Oh,
There's
okay.
a lot of dying.
I
We're
want to
not dead now, so
Yeah.
that's the thing.
mostly not.
It felt so real. That's
We can't get out of
Crazy.
here, then we might as well be dead.
As long as we're stuck in here, it doesn't really matter if the memories are real or not.
I'm gonna inspect the trash chute.
Trash chute, laundry chute, whatever purpose it once served. It is a slick metal ramp that's seemingly the only apparent avenue to leave whatever basement you found yourselves in.
How confident are you all in climbing up this?
Oh, I know one guy who is. Hold on.
It is several feet up off the ground, what will be about shoulder level for everyone who is not 3 feet tall, above the head of a chameleon here.
Can I send my chameleon up it?
You can absolutely send chameleon up. Chameleon sends chameleon. We're gonna need a different name for the chameleon.
Yeah, no, different. I don't think I can.
Blue.
I could be Cam.
Bluey.
Maybe like
Just name him
blue.
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 For now.
You send your chameleon out, and he quickly scampers and hops off of your hand onto the wall and starts to make his way up towards the chute as he sort of fizzles out of sight, camouflaging out to disappear from view. You wait. You don't have any kind of mental link or anything with this chameleon. You don't know what he will see or when he'll be back. So you wait.
While we wait,
back.
I want to see about getting those chains off the wall.
Okay.
Yep.
Did I give you your athletics already?
You did.
I can help with that.
Then both of you just give me athletics checks. I know you both have it.
I'll be assisting.
You just make it dependent ones.
Yeah. I rolled a 15 total.
18.
Yeah. Both of you, with these pythons that are attached to the wall, are clearly much stronger than whatever this was meant to restrain, and you have much better leverage, not being restrained by them. Each of you is able to grip and grab one of these thick, heavy chains, pull the python directly out of the stone. It just leaves this cracked hole where it once was.
Collect the pythons. put them in
The
bag.
lengths of chain are maybe 3 feet long. They're kind of surprisingly long for being restraints. But what their original purpose was, the thick, rough iron of their links is kind of at odds with the well-crafted black leather of the manacles attached to the end of them. The climbing pythons, of course, no original part of this whatsoever. This is a roughshod thing that someone has thrown together. Your chameleon reappears as you feel him back on your shoulder, and all of you would see him just appear.
I think
he wants your finger again.
Oh, okay. No, I got it. Here you go.
He would open his hands and just push on your finger.
Oh no. He doesn't want the finger.
That's all I got.
Want to kiss your mouth again?
His eyes are just kind of both independently shooting across the party. He sort of just looks at the rest of you and tries turning your direction.
Nothing.
Oh, it's like, is it like Morse code or something?
Is it my face?
Monster.
2 means safe, 1 means not safe. Not safe.
Not safe.
Not safe.
Not safe.
He looks at his hands, trying to figure out.
This poor guy. This poor chameleon.
He's trying. He's
Well, then-
giving it his all.
Oh, do you
You
want
want me to climb up there and see for myself?
You want to go up first?
Yeah.
Hey, Keith.
Snaps two little hands towards.
2 for yes, 1 for no. Oh, go for it.
Give me the pythons.
Do you want to go up first, or you want to send Keys up?
I'll go up.
The metal of the chute is not exactly perfectly polished, given the grisly use it appears to have had in recent times. The chute is damaged, the metal beaten and gouged by the bodies that have been shoved down it, the armor, the wood, stone. It is run rough from friction, and climbing pythons may help, but it does not seem like it would be terribly difficult to work your way back up. There's plenty of room for you
the
to
pythons are to hang the chains.
get. That's fair. Plenty of room to get your bearings.
I'm not worried
on
about me getting
all sides of this.
I'm worried about giving other people something to hold on to.
Fair enough. So,
That's the point.
Trey, you going up first?
Mm-hmm.
Climbs up atop the heap of corpses, making his way towards the mouth of this chute and up towards the darkness and whatever waits above. You can see with your dark vision the chute isn't very long. It only extends maybe about 10 feet before there's a wall. Be a cover of some side on the far side. It can't have been very heavy. The chameleon got out of it. But it stops you from seeing what may wait on the other side. What that is, I suppose, is a question for next week.
No.
As it is here, we will end our first session, Strange Aeons. There's still a lot of blanks on your various character sheets. You still know very little about what you're capable of, even less about who you are. These are things that we'll uncover in the coming weeks, the coming episodes. We'll be here every Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, noon Pacific. Same place. Thank you for joining us, everyone, for our premiere episode. I am so happy with how everything has gone so far. And I am excited for where it's going to go. Enjoy your weekends, everyone. I gotta update the nameplates.
I want to be Trey like an actual Trey, not Trey.
Yeah, I was gonna put Trey with an A.
That's
I got you.
I want doctor in front of mine. Listen.
I'm MD.